for its service personnel. Israel and the rest of the world waiting for Iran to avenge the strikes on two senior leaders for Hamas and Hezbollah. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon.
Officials here tell us an attack could happen at any time, and satellite reconnaissance is seeing the Iranians move things around Iran, missiles, drones. But there's also concerns that this could be a multi-front attack, not just from Iran, but from the Houthis in Yemen and also Hezbollah to the north. Now, late last night, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin held another call with his Israeli counterpart and ordered the USS Abraham Lincoln Strike Group, currently in the Pacific, far away from the Middle East by at least a week out, to increase turns and expedite her transit along with the strike group to take station within striking range of Iran.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Vice President Harris will soon reveal her plans. She runs for the White House. Well, are there issues inside the White House between the people in President Biden's camp and those aligned with a second in command? Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House.
We're being told by the vice president that if we want to know what she thinks about current events or where she stands on the issues, we do have to wait a little bit longer. The Harris platform is not the only thing top campaign staffers in Wilmington are working on. The campaign chair, Jen O'Malley-Dillon, told the vice president she wanted a specific assurance that new advisors being brought in to help won't water down her, Jen O'Malley-Dillon's, responsibilities. That is according to a Politico item about new tensions in a Harris campaign run by a bunch of Biden people.
Crews are demolishing the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs, where a gunman killed more than 24 worshipers in 2017. Some families wanted to preserve the scene of the deadliest church shooting in U.S. history. Church members voted in 2021 to tear it down over protests from some in that small community. America's listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure. Now, 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft. In a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it. Guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Let's continue to keep an eye out for scattered thunderstorms going through our Monday afternoon, but the action kind of fades mid to late afternoon, but still a chance of some heavy downpours of rain. Only 77 for the high. Tonight a break, partly to mostly cloudy, 68. Tuesday partly sunny, okay in the morning, but the next batch of scattered thunderstorms developing Tuesday afternoon, 81. Same kind of pattern on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement.
We'll throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will.
Decisions when retiring before 65. I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Save with summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get the tools and parts you need for your next brake job with Brake Best Select, Select Pro, and import direct brake pads and rotors now at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
Well, that is the video that is on Donald Trump's Twitter account right now. I know a lot of you have decided Twitter is not the place for you. Some of you only live on Twitter. But right now, Donald Trump's Twitter account is back up and functioning, and he's tweeting from it, or somebody's tweeting from it on his behalf. I don't really know that there's much tweeting in the past that has gone on outside of Donald Trump's thumbs and his phone. I wonder if he types with his thumbs or if he's a swiper. And I wonder what that would say about him. Somebody should ask, one of the influencers should ask him, when you're tweeting, are you using thumbs? Are you hunting and pecking? I don't think he's a hunt and pecker. I think he is somebody who is pretty adept at it, except for the Covfefe thing a few years ago. So yes, Donald Trump back on Twitter. That is the news of this morning. It's pretty big news. When I first went to Donald Trump's X profile, I'm going to try to call it X, out of gratitude for Elon Musk. I'm going to try to call it X. Twixter is what I was calling it when it first changed, and it's just kind of the thing that sticks in my mind the most. Initially, when I went to his profile on X, his new tweets only showed up in replies for me, and then I kept refreshing, and it didn't change, and then 5 minutes later, I went back, and then there they were on the posts. I am excited to see what his event tonight that will take place on X with Elon Musk, 7 o'clock our time this evening, they are going to be live. Now, I don't know if this is going to involve video, if it's just audio like their traditional spaces are, but I'm going to be paying attention to it for sure. So I'm looking here, scrolling through his X account on August 4th, or 24th, 2023, the Trump account tweeted out his mugshot. And at this point in time right now, there are 490,000 retweets of Donald Trump's mugshot, 345,000 replies, 1.8 million likes, and 312 million views. It made its way around the world. 312 million views for that one tweet. So he put that out in August 2023 when that mugshot was released. And before that, the last time he tweeted, January 8th of 2021.
So some things have transpired since Donald Trump has been an active participant on Twitter. And what's the phrase that everybody loves to repeat over and over and over again? What I wouldn't give for some mean tweets right now. Granted, those mean tweets are much more palatable when you're paying $1.50 gas. We got to get to there. We got to get past November. We have to get ourselves to the place where we win in November and can get back to more affordable groceries, more affordable gas, more affordable lifestyles, more affordable housing, all of that. We will talk with Steve Moore at 1:05 on the show. In an hour from now, we'll be talking with him. He is an advisor to Donald Trump's economic policies, and we will talk to Steve Moore about what it looks like for Donald Trump to actually effectively get us back to there. I'm also going to ask Steve Moore what he thinks about the only policy that Kamala Harris is on record in supporting, which is no tax on tips, this new policy that Kamala Harris has come up with. She stole it from Trump. I know she stole it from Trump. You know why? Because I'm holding in my hand right here. If you're looking on the screen right now, these are stickers that I bought, and they're brilliant stickers. And I bought them maybe at the very beginning of July. Like, there's been time to get merchandise out for Donald Trump's no tax on tips policy. I'm holding these stickers, and they're stickers that you can put on your receipt. You know, a lot of people were writing on receipts, like, vote Trump, no tax on tips. People have been doing that all summer. I bought these stickers from Tax-Free Tips 2024. They were affordable, and they had many options there, and it says, here's another tip, and there's a USA flag, and then there's a QR code, and the QR code goes to Donald Trump talking about how he's not going to tax tips. So Kamala Harris comes out this weekend, and she is now in favor of no tax on tips. She hasn't really been, like, on record, really, with any policy. She's just accused Donald Trump of being the end of democracy, and then she continues to give us her resume. Not a record, but her resume. She's not really talking about any of the things that she has actually effectively done on her own. But here's something that she says that she wants to do should she become the president.
Including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
So there is a difference here, though. It's important to understand the difference in what Kamala Harris is trying to do and what Donald Trump is trying to do, because I'm not really sure what a hospitality worker is. So if Kamala Harris knows something, I don't know.
And eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
I thought, well, maybe this is a new track for her. Hospitality workers, no tax on tips. That is something that Kamala Harris has added to Donald Trump's no tax on tips policy that he's been stumping on for months and months. It's not. This is important when you're consuming things, because you need to remember you got to keep yourself your level best. Listening to Kamala Harris come out and say that, and just say it. She just said it like, first of all, I think she'll say whatever's in the teleprompter. That's A1. Maybe somebody from Trump's campaign got into her teleprompter or something and stuck that in there, and she said that, and she thought, what? What the heck? When Kamala Harris and the people in this campaign and the surrogates and the pundits on the left-leaning media channels, when they come out and they say things like this and they champion her of being a woman of the people and everything, and they're blatantly duplicating things and gaslighting on other things about Donald Trump, about his campaign, about what he stands for, about what he did, about what the Biden-Harris administration has done, about the problems this country is facing, about the disastrous, chaotic border that was created by Donald Trump's policies being removed on essentially day one by Joe Biden. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's border policy has been to undo all of the executive orders that Kamala Harris that Donald Trump put in place. The Biden-Harris plan on the border was to undo every executive order they could possibly undo that Donald Trump had put in place. And go look at the charts. Go look at them. Go look at the numbers. You like graphs? You like numbers? Go look at them. They are not in favor of the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris way if you want a secure border. I've said this many times, and I will continue to say it again. When it looks like the Biden-Harris policies are failing miserably, and you're going, what are you doing? Can't you see how disastrous this is for the country? You have failed to understand that their goals for their policies are different than yours. And I know this, and I have to remind myself of this repeatedly because it's very hard to believe, and it's even more difficult to accept that the Biden-Harris administration would hate America as it were so much that they would want to fundamentally transform it in the future for something they envision this country to be that it currently isn't. Kamala Harris is an exercise in big government run by elitist people, namely Barack Obama, who have a broader vision of what America should be coming out of how awful America has been, which sounds something like a line that Kamala continues to repeat. When Kamala Harris comes out and says about what can be unburdened by what has been, she's talking about America. She's talking about this country we live in. She's talking about unburdened by what has been. That's the disastrous disgust that she has for the United States of America. She only sees the blackest of eyes that we have as a nation, as a culture, as a community. She only looks at the terrible things that has happened and completely forgets that we have shed blood to move past it, that we have grown to a place where, she continues to repeat her resume to us over and over and over again. She continues to talk to us about how she's been a prosecutor. She's tough on crime. She's tough on the crime that she wants to identify, but she just waves her hand at the things that are advantageous to her, like the southern border. And again, don't say borders are. Who gives a flying flip about whether or not her name was the border czar? That doesn't matter. That is a distraction to the point that Joe Biden most certainly put her in charge of the concern that people had at the southern border. And they did it like 2 months after they became president and vice president. It was nearly immediate that they decided, we're going to address this. Now, here's why this is complicated for them, not for us. This is why this is complicated, because in the world of shallow policies and identity politics and power-hungry people who are willing to do whatever it takes to maintain it, this is the truth. And I don't hear people talking about this, and I know that it's like a simple, basic point, and you want more because there should be more, but there isn't. People were freaking out about the border when Joe Biden became the president, and he undid all of Donald Trump's policies. This is how the left works. They say out loud, we're going to put somebody in charge of this, and then that's the end of it. There's a big fat period. At the end of that sentence, they feel as though they get credit for identifying the issue and saying they're going to resolve it. What's the phrase? Everybody together. We're going to do the work. They never get done with the work. The work is the work. The work is the goal. If you have a perpetual problem in government that needs to be solved only by government, what will you always need more of? Government. That's how they function. So when Biden-Harris become the administration that gets to pull the levers, and their immediate reaction is to make a bunch of maneuvers that are going to make the border a disaster. Donald Trump didn't have the border problem A1 fixed, but he had it in a place where if Congress could step in and make some tough decisions, which they had the chance to do as well when Donald Trump was president, but Republicans didn't have enough of the majority to get it across the finish line. He had it in a position where the next move could have fixed the southern border, could have fortified our country in the future to make sure that we don't have terrorists running across our lands right now. That is a known fact, that we have people in our country right now who are terrorists because they just came across Kamala Harris's southern border. When you get shallow people like the far left progressive heads of the Democrat Party currently, not every Democrat is like this. Not every Democrat is only power hungry. Not every Democrat out there is a far left, woke progressive, power hungry, shallow vessel. They're not all like that, but they are in charge right now. And that will be up to the Democrat Party to fix. Not up to us. It will be up to the Democrats who say, I don't believe what the Republicans believe on these issues, but I sure as heck don't believe what this progressive left Democrat Party believes on these issues. That's on you, blue voters. You fix that. But Republicans and moderates and disenchanted, disenfranchised Democrat voters need to understand one thing. The solution from the Biden-Harris administration was to say out loud to everybody, Kamala Harris is going to be in charge of the border. And I fear that that was supposed to just be enough so that the administration could say, oh, yeah, we're on it. We've identified it. We've said it out loud even. And then it gets out of hand. They don't have a plan where the end goal is a secure border where only people who want to follow our laws and our system of legal immigration, their goal is not to fortify that so that we can welcome the very best of the best people who want to come here for an opportunity, to come here for a chance, to come here to escape oppressive third world countries or oppressive dictatorship governments, to come here and have a shot in America. You can do that through a set-up system. And if the system isn't right, fix the system. You don't kick the door open and tell them all to come across the southern border and then fix it down the road, unless your far left, woke, progressive agenda is to create problems that you can maybe solve at some point. Or at least every election cycle, every 2 years, remind the voters that you're the one who cares about people. When Joe Biden puts Kamala Harris in charge of the southern border, it was just to get credit for saying something about the southern border and to get it off Joe Biden's plate. Because remember, Joe Biden was going to run for a second term. He could put that on her. And she didn't do anything about it because they didn't have a plan to do anything about it. The Biden-Harris border plan is exactly what's happening right now. Fentanyl in this country, Kamala Harris. Crime in this country from people who don't belong here, Kamala Harris. Jobs that aren't going to American tax-paying, on-the-record citizens, Kamala Harris. She don't want to fix any of it. She doesn't want to stop any of it. In fact, not only does she not want to stop it, she created it. When you look at the Harris plan and you say it's an unmitigated disaster, guess what she thinks? Exactly how I wanted it. They steal plans like no tax on tips because they hear it in the wind. They lick their finger, they put their finger up in the air, and they're like, some people like that. We're just going to say it. And it gets under your skin, and you're like, how the heck can she just say that in a rally and own it like it's hers? It's because she has no standards. There's no moral barrier to doing something like that because the only thing that matters is winning. And if she thinks, Trump, this is how you know it's a good policy. So good that Kamala's willing to steal it to try to bring some people back over to her that may have been interested in Donald Trump because he said something they liked. To any moderate, to any newbie out there, if you are looking to pay less in taxes, Kamala Harris ain't your girl. That's not where you go to pay less taxes. She wants to raise the minimum wage. She says she wants to raise the minimum wage in the same sentence that she says she wants to not tax tips. She wants to make businesses pay people more, force them to pay people more so that those same people who are now making more money now have to pay $10 for a QPC, which is what McDonald's really wants you to call a quarter pounder with cheese because they want to be cool. They want to abbreviate it. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. They have an ad out and it says, It's QPC, and they're like reminding you not to say the W because you don't have time to say the W or the words Quarter Pounder with cheese. You want to pay $10 for your QPC and you get to feel good about it when you're now making $15 an hour or $20 an hour and half of your hourly wage still has to go to buy a cheeseburger? Right now, look at TikTok. People all over the place saying they cannot afford this economy. They don't even understand how anybody can afford this economy. That's Kamala Harris's economy. This is what they wanted. They want you to struggle so that you have to lean on government for the solutions to your problems that they created. I mean, in that sense, it seems like a good business model for them if we're not smart enough to choose a different path. YouTube live chat poll for today. Will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? Yes or no? I would love to see some comments on this as well as we come in because people are going to definitely perceive this in different ways. Larry says, no, I fear for my kids' future living under a communist rule. Well, that's broad. And I think something a lot of people relate to. Paula says, yes, because I don't trust in man. God alone has all of this under control. It's a good foundation, Paula. Let's take a quick break. Let's talk about J.D. Vance and how weird he isn't when we come back. Don't go away.
You can't fight the temptation when you get the vibration.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
RetirementKey.com, planning for your retirement. You've been doing it for a while, but not right now you're on the cusp. It's about time to make the move, and you want to be with the very best people. May I introduce to you Tammy and Bob Kershaw, and Thomas Helbig, of course, of the Retirement Advisory Group. When you talk to Bob and Tammy and Thomas about making this transition into retirement, you are going to be in a position to hear what they can do for you, and they're going to hear what you've done so far for yourself. And then you're going to be able to get a personalized, structured income plan that's going to fill in all the gaps. And all of those gaps of things you don't know, that's where fear and anxiety sets in. You need to know, because if you're aware of what the future holds, then you don't have to worry about it. You can build on it. You can grow on it. Maybe you can push back retirement if it's not quite exactly what you were looking for. Or, this has happened, he said many times before, you can accelerate retirement. Maybe you're way better off than you thought. Reach out to them and set up a free appointment to sit down and find out what they can do for you. 314-993-9494. You can find them online at retirementkey.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Did you know you can unlock the equity from your current home and stay in it while you find your next home or while your new home's being built? Mark Cox here for my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. She can do that for you. Here's a problem many home sellers find themselves in. I want to sell my home, but where will I move? Plus, I need the funds for my current home to go purchase our next home. Gloria understands this. That's why she created her Sell and Stay program, which allows you to sell your home, get the cash, and stay in the home for up to 12 months. I love Gloria Liu because she thinks of every dilemma a home seller could go through and provides a guaranteed solution. If you need the cash from your current home to buy your next home, here's my recommendation. Call the only agent I trust, Gloria Liu, and ask her about her Sell and Stay program, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. If your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant healthcare program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at Purina.com/Purina Cares.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. For a limited time, save $55 off a new water heater. Air Comfort Service not only installs attic insulation and HVAC systems, they also install water heaters. For a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Focus Marines Foundation is here to help veterans transition from service to civilian life, and we're here to support them. This is Mark Cox inviting you to get involved in this month's Conservatives Care effort by visiting 971talk.com.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
At the sky, he cussed, kicked the dust, saying, son, it's way too dry. The clouds up in the city, the weatherman complains. But where I come from, rain is a good thing. Rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes my baby.
Of course, I want to debate Tim Walz. I think it's important, and I think that it goes to a very fundamental difference between the Trump-Vance ticket and our opposition. We believe in talking to the media. We believe in answering questions. We believe in debating. I think it's really important. I mean, look, I'm asking the American people to make me their vice president. It's really important to stand before the American people to make that case, and I'm going to keep on doing it in whatever forum I get the opportunity.
J.D. Vance decided to go and show up on basically all the left-leaning networks and do the Sunday shows yesterday, which I think is fantastic. And it's more, J.D. Vance has really come into his own. And what I think that the Trump campaign thought that he would lend to this ticket, he's doing that right now. And we watched J.D. Vance go through some really harsh attacks full of made-up accusations towards J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a very popular pop culture person, considering the fact his book is a bestseller. He had a very successful movie made out of his book. He's a senator, so obviously he's been elected out of his state. And what was a pretty close election, people liked J.D. Vance. And then, of course, he becomes attached to Donald Trump, and people start to question him because he gets the full assault from the folks on the left who just hate everything about Donald Trump, which I still don't really understand. It's like they're unwilling to pay attention to him. Here's another economic policy from J.D. Vance on CBS.
Well, it's called the child tax credit, and we should expand the child tax credit. If you think about what the child tax credit does.
So you and the Biden administration agree on the child care tax credit?
Well, we think it should be bigger. I think President Trump and I believe in an expanded child tax credit, but we also, importantly, want to actually get this thing done. The child tax credit has languished, thanks to the Biden administration, because Harris has failed to show fundamental leadership. Chuck Schumer's been unable to get it through the United States Senate, and we want to have a more pro-family policy. Now,
there was just a vote on this. You know that. Well, you weren't there.
But Margaret,
it was a messaging bill. I'll give you that.
It was a show vote.
I'm with you on that.
And if I had been there, it would have failed.
So tell me specifically what you want to do to expand the child care tax credit, because it's like $2,000 per kid right now.
Well, I think one of the things you can do is make it bigger per child. I think we'd love to see it at a higher dollar value. And again, President Trump and I have proposed that. I mean, look, I'd love to see a child tax credit that's $5,000 per child, but you, of course, have to work with Congress to see how possible and viable that is. We've also proposed legislation, Margaret, to end this practice of parents getting these surprise medical bills where they go to the hospital, they have a baby, they chose an out-of-network provider, and they come home with unexpected bills. I've actually sponsored legislation to end that practice. So we have a whole host of pro-family policies that are out there. And again, on the Harris administration, I got to push back against something a little bit, Margaret, because when these comments where I said parents should pay lower taxes via the child tax credit came out, the Harris administration immediately jumped and said, we disagree with this. The Harris campaign said, we disagree with this. So do they want the elimination of the child tax credit, or were they just being careless in responding to remarks that I made 3 years ago? I don't know. They should clarify it, maybe in an interview with you. But, of course, Kamala Harris refuses to do interviews with anybody.
So that's the key here, is that you've got questions going back and forth with CBS's Margaret Brennan there about policy. What is the Trump-Vance ticket think about the child tax care credit? You know now that J.D. Vance and Trump alike think that the child tax credit should continue and be expanded. And he said $5,000 per child. He even went on to say that he doesn't think it should be barred by economic or by income. That if you have a child, that you should be incentivized to have children. And I think he's spot on with this. Why? Because our population is in decline. Women are not having babies as young. Couples and families are not getting married until later. So when they do decide to have children in their 30s, maybe they're having 1 or 2 instead of 3 or 4 or what, I don't know how many kids is the average per family right now, but we are not replacing our population. That is a problem for a vibrant country. I heard a clip from Canada and some things that were going on in Canada right now. And it was between a reporter and a person who was there who was talking about Islam and talking about how in Canada, Sharia law will eventually be the rule of the land in Canada because they are reproducing at a rate that Canadians aren't. This is something across the world that you have to look at successful countries economically, culturally, and you have to understand at a bare minimum, you have to be creating new generations of Americans or wherever you are. And we're not doing that right now. When you hear about the child tax credit, I think it's always important to remember that there are families who are, and I have 4 kids. I say this in full disclosure, but when people talk about kids, families with kids getting more money back, you are supporting more people in your family. And it is, if it's a tax credit, it's coming off of the tax bill that I owe. So it's me keeping more of my money to support my family. I think that's an interesting policy. It's worthy of debate. It's worthy of the back and forth, the challenges that would come from the media, that would come from your opponent who's on the other side of the aisle that could advocate for a different policy. Why? Because when you hear that back and forth, you are then, as the voter and the taxpayer, in a position to make a decision based on what reflects your values and your perspectives the most. J.D. Vance was on with Dana Bash as well. And it's really, I want to see these same people sit down with Walz specifically. I just want to see how they treat him. Are they helping the Democrat side of the aisle along, answering the questions and throwing out criticisms of the opponent while the interviewee is sitting there answering these questions? Or are they going to challenge and push back on Walz and eventually, I assume, Harris when they sit there and they say things that are patently false? When you think about the media and the way that they have pounced on J.D. Vance for his childless cat lady comment, which is something he said years ago. And my understanding is, I think he said that before he was even a Senate candidate. Like, this is just something he said when he was a civilian, just like you. And he made this comment, and he has been pushed dramatically to clarify it, to double down on it, to comment on it. This is something he said a long time ago, and the left wants to tie the rope on that. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is the vice president of the United States. She is in a position of great power and authority right now to make a difference in your life because she represents you in Washington, D.C., and they won't ask her a darn question challenging her on how she's a prosecutor, tough on crime. I was the attorney general. I prosecuted drug trafficking and human trafficking, and I won. She goes on and on and on about this, and it's like, but your policies are bringing people here. Who's asking her that question? Nobody, because she's not coming to the microphone and the camera to sit down and be asked that question. And if the roles were reversed, you know full well that they would be trashing the inconsistency and the hypocrisy of Donald Trump if he were to be in a position of authority right now, if this were 2020, and Donald Trump was like, I'm going to fix this and I'm going to fix that, and it was a current issue. You think that they would just sit by and not let him answer questions about that? It's absurd. The absurdity is what gets under your skin. The hypocrisy is what boils your blood. And I'm telling you right now, it's by design because they're trying to get under Trump's skin. They're trying to boil Trump's blood. They're trying to get him to go do what they've been telling Americans he does every time he's confronted with a problem. Donald Trump is actually a problem solver. Donald Trump is actually a fixer, not like the Cohen kind of fixer. He's like a real fixer. He identifies problems and he finds solutions for them. He brings people in to help make that solution a reality. And if people don't like it, he doesn't care. He sees problems, he identifies solutions, he goes after it. Kamala Harris, she's hiding. And it's intentional. And the media is in on it. The system is designed to make you feel crazy. The system is designed to make you feel like the hypocrisy is all around us. Can't you see this? And then you say to your leftist friends who get the readout every morning of the talking points of the left, the side that is for joy. What the hell is that? You talk to them and you're like, how could you not see this? It's right there in front of your eyes. And they're sitting there telling you that, like The Hill reported that Mike Walls is bringing kindness back into the conversation. Tim Walz. Why do I keep saying Mike Walls? They gaslight you to make you feel crazy. And then when you snap because you're made to feel crazy, especially if you're Donald Trump, that's how they win. None of the details matter. The end game for them is to make the other side look like they've lost their minds so that people are like, man, I don't want to be associated with that. Who cares about policies? That's why Kamala Harris doesn't have any policies on her website. She has no policies on her website. You can donate in 7 different places, but she has no policies on her website. I guess you could probably see her policies maybe at Trump's website, at least for the campaign. I don't understand it at all. But again, remember, they're trying to make you feel crazy. They're trying to make you feel like you need to pull your hair out so that when somebody talks to you about it, you seem angry. You seem ticked off. That's not attractive. You got to beat them at that game. You got to remember the smile. You got to remember the pause and the breath. And if there are people in your life that you care about, that love you and you love them, then have the conversation and do it calmly. You might win it. You never know. Let's take a quick break. We'll get Ryan Wiggins in studio here when we come back with the Monday Roundup, all the stories that you missed over the weekend and all the things to get caught up on a Monday afternoon. The YouTube poll, come join us there. Will you be okay if your candidate loses? Let's see here. Andy said, no problem here. He doesn't mind. Kurt says he'd be, I'll adjust here, ticked, but okay. One candidate, no matter how high the office, is ever the answer. Where do you fall? Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go vote. Leave a comment. Ryan Wiggins when we come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes my baby feel a little frisky. Back roads are bogging up, my buddies pile up in my truck. We hunt our honeys down, we take them into town, start washing all our worries down the drain. Rain is a good thing.
WindowWorldSTLewis.com. That's the website you want to visit. WindowWorldSTLewis.com. Make sure that you have beautiful, energy-efficient windows in your home. And if the ones that you've got right now, the builder's grade ones, put in when the house was built, and they're not doing the trick, you need an affordable window that you don't sacrifice quality on, and that's where Window World comes in. You can call them at 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800. And I'm going to ask that you mention my name when you do, because you're going to be entered in a drawing for 4 St. Louis Blues tickets during the upcoming season that Window World is going to get to give away. So make sure you call 314-993-1800 and drop that Annie Fry Show name to get entered to win. A reminder that they add a lifetime warranty that covers parts, glass breakage, and labor to their replacement windows. And you have lots of reviews online that you can go check out, as well as knowing that they are one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. You know you're getting a quality window when you go to Window World St. Louis, and they're a phone call or a click away. 314-993-1800, mention Annie, or visit them online at WindowWorldSTLewis.com.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Well, if you haven't heard us talking about it yet, then listen up. Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking about you. Will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? Now, I've been thinking about this question a lot, and I have a lot to say about it. YouTube live chat poll of the day. Type in Annie Fry into YouTube. You'll see the stream come up, and you can answer the question there. 12:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's what's happening
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
right now.
Tim Walz's record is a joke.
Keeping you informed.
A path to victory in November is the #1 priority.
And up to date. 97.1 FM Talk.
In constant sorrow all through his day.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
In constant sorrow, I've seen trouble, I've seen pain. 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 I've seen trouble, I've seen Monday Roundup. Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Welcome to August 12th, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Monday Roundup, everything you missed over the weekend. First of all, you know how I always talk about how I love the deep state?
Yeah, you won't shut up about it. It's like your favorite thing.
Well, it's because of things like this.
There's the deep state and oatmeal cream pies.
Yeah, and polling. I just love those three things.
Have you ever polled the deep state about oatmeal cream pies?
No, the deep state's just hard to get a hold of. Every time I call, they're like, let me put you on hold for a minute. And then it's like the DMV. Federal Trade Commission, the Federal Communications Commission, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau are teaming up for the Time is Money initiative. And I got to tell you, I am a fan of this one. It's one of the only things that I think I could ever said, hey, the agencies are doing something and it's good. It's not just self-serving. They are cracking down on corporate tricks that cause unnecessary aggravation in Americans' lives. So these are going to be steps to reduce excessive...
What about the government tricks that cause unnecessary, whatever you just said?
Oh, those things? They're not worried about those.
Add those.
They're adding more of those. So whatever they take away from the private sector, they're just going to put into the public sector. They are reducing excessive paperwork, shortening wait times, and making it easier to cancel subscriptions and memberships. They say these hassles don't just happen by accident. Companies often deliberately design their business processes to be time-consuming or otherwise burdensome for consumers in order to deter them from getting a rebate or refund or canceling a subscription or membership they no longer want. Fan?
Well, depends on how they're going to do that. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I mean, it just says this is what we're going to do. How they're going to do it, it doesn't say. They said they're going to target consumer service shortfalls, including cracking down on endless doom loops.
There have already been things implemented, like for the unsubscribe on an email. They have to make the unsubscribe. There has to be an unsubscribe easily accessible in every email you get. And it has to be like a one click. I remember this from when I was doing digital, so it's not new. That this is like him saying, this feels like them saying, we're going to lower the cost of, what is it, insulin or whatever that they dropped, and it's like an extension of a Trump policy.
You know what I hate is it sounds like now that I'm reading it, it sounds like exactly what you were talking about in the first segment, where you're like, we're going to do the work.
Yeah.
You go, well, what is it? I like it. What are you going to do?
And they're relying on people being like, I'm all for that. And it's been happening for 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, if they are able to find a way to get rid of what they call doom loops, which prevent customers from speaking to a real person when trying to find that way out of a subscription, if they can find a way to actually implement that, I'm a big fan, because it does drive me crazy.
I think that I'd have to do the research on it. I'd have to do the work.
Do the work.
But I think that there's already stuff that is implemented in there.
Well, then they need to push harder. And I trust that they're going to do that because I trust all of our agencies. How about this one? Have you ever heard of somebody who is an urban explorer? These are people who...
I think I see them on the streets when I drive into St. Louis.
No. They're not exploring. They're wandering.
They're trying to explore into my car on a regular basis.
Okay. And into random tents. These are people who drive all across the country to try to find interesting abandoned places. And these couple guys,
are these YouTubers?
I'm sure they are.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there was no video with this, though. There was just a bunch of pictures. So maybe they're just bloggers. They found a deserted home that from a woman who had hoarded toys after her husband passed away for years. So they went into here and they took a bunch of pictures, and they said it's the most scary place they've ever been in. They showed the pictures. It is just rooms full of dolls staring at you the entire time you walk through them. So my question for you, specifically, Annie, since you have kids, have you ever been freaked out by any of your kids' toys?
No, not really. I police that stuff pretty hard when it comes in. Someone gives you a toy that's awful, and it's like, take it to grandma's house. No. I mean, if they get like musical instruments or something particularly noisy, those go in the basement and they play with them in the basement, but not really.
Tell you what, as they've gotten older, we don't have as many of these types of toys, but the ones when they're toddlers that you can press and they make different sounds and little fake pianos and stuff like that, We had a few of those that just in the middle of the night, they would start talking.
The batteries are kind of wearing off or whatever, and they just start making noise. I think we've had a few of those.
Yeah, those get a little freaky, and we don't have any of those anymore.
The key is to take the batteries out.
Yeah, but then they're useless.
Exactly.
So
you aren't following me.
They're
not useless. You can still press the keys.
Yeah, but after the little 3-year-old is like, oh, I love when I press this key and it makes this ding and it doesn't do it, then the toy is actually useless.
My kids would still play it. Probably make the noise themselves.
Speaking of toy news, Polly Pocket. Do you remember that? Were you in the age group that had Polly Pocket?
I did not have one, but my friends did.
So Polly Pocket is apparently they're targeting our age group for this now.
I bet.
You can stay in a life-size Polly Pocket.
This is a lifetime dream of mine.
Airbnb. The thing is, it looks amazing. I mean, it really is.
Would you do this?
I don't know that I would do this. Did I do this? Is that what you're asking?
Would.
No.
I mean, did.
It's weird. The picture's not going to do it justice, but it's just a life-size Polly Pocket thing in the middle of the woods with nothing around it.
Weird.
And it doesn't close. So it just stays open. So if it starts raining, you are sleeping in the rain. I'm not sure that they thought this through because there is no way to get out of the elements. You just stay outside in an open Polly Pocket life-size toy. And there you go. Now you're caught up on everything that happened this weekend.
Man, I don't even know if I need to do the rest of the show.
No, you don't.
Steve Moore, when we come back, we're going to talk about Donald Trump's economic policies and what he suspects the Harris policies will be because she didn't have them on her website. I guess she's going to save those. It's a surprise tool that'll help you later. We'll be right back.
Oh, no. Stomach issues again? Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools. I thought it was my stomach. People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family. Together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
I would shout from the mountaintops the value of a Lutheran school education. Grade schools and high schools in St. Louis on both sides of the river, Missouri and Illinois, boast some of the most amazing Lutheran schools that are the best alternative for kids who are looking to do something other than public education, or maybe you're just trying to make a move from a different type of parochial school or non-public school, from homeschooling. You want to get them in a social situation, but you haven't found the right solution yet. Please consider visiting lisastl.org/Annie, LESA. STL.org/Annie. That stands for Lutheran Elementary School Association. And understand that you'll be investing in an education that is top-notch, great education, family values, safety, trying to work very hard to make sure that we don't have bullying situations because we can talk about right versus wrong and forgiveness. Please consider it. Ask me questions if you have them. You can visit lesastl.org/Annie.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
Upgrade your family vacation with an unforgettable escape to the Palm Beaches. From outdoor adventures and laid-back beaches to thrilling family attractions and animal encounters, the Palm Beaches have something for everyone. Discover premier resorts with creative kids clubs that will keep the little ones entertained while you enjoy world-class golf and spas. We are the original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Since in the Middle East, Gianna Gelosi, Fox News, the U.S. and Israeli forces are gearing up for potential retaliatory attacks from Iran. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson has more from the Pentagon.
Late last night, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin held another call with his Israeli counterpart and ordered the USS Abraham Lincoln Strike Group, currently in the Pacific, by the way, far away from the Middle East and at least a week out, to increase turns and expedite that transit along with their strike group to take station within striking range of Iran. He also ordered the guided missile submarine USS Georgia to move into firing range. Georgia has been lurking in the eastern Mediterranean in recent days. In addition to a detachment of Force Recon Marines on board, the converted ballistic missile submarine has over 150 Tomahawk cruise missiles on board with a max range of 1,500 miles.
Meanwhile, Iran is denying the Trump-Vance campaign's claim that the country hacked and stole internal communications from the Republican ticket. Fox's Jillian Turner reports.
The same day the Trump campaign announced they had been hacked, the news outlet Politico started reporting that they had been receiving emails from some anonymous email account that did contain internal Trump campaign documents. Here's what the Trump campaign says about all this. Quote, these documents were obtained illegally from foreign sources hostile to the U.S., intended to interfere with the 2024 election, and sow chaos. Now, on Friday, a new Microsoft report revealed that Iranian hackers broke into the account of a, quote, high-ranking official on the U.S. presidential campaign. They're not specifying which official.
And the claim follows recent reports that Iran was trying to assassinate former President Trump. And top Democrats are gearing up to head to Chicago next week for the Democratic National Convention. A source told Fox News that President Biden, former President Barack Obama, and the Clintons have all been confirmed as speakers. America's listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Let's continue to keep an eye out for scattered thunderstorms going through our Monday afternoon, but the action kind of fades mid to late afternoon, but still a chance of some heavy downpours of rain. Only 77 for the high. Tonight a break, partly to mostly cloudy, 68. Tuesday partly sunny, okay in the morning, but the next batch of scattered thunderstorms developing Tuesday afternoon, 81. Same kind of pattern on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It is so hot. I mean, it's expected here at times, especially this time of year in St. Louis. But man, and when it gets this hot, I've heard the egg farmers are having a serious problem. That's just what I heard. Again, it might be true, it might not. It sounds like it sounds like it probably is true that the chicken farmers are having trouble having the eggs because it's so hot. When the chickens lay the egg, it becomes a baby chick. That's hot. So I can only imagine what it is in your house. Well, I don't have to imagine. I've been in your houses when your air conditioner is not working or when it breaks. So if yours is broken or it's not cooling really good, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. Now that is a Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
If you're considering new windows, there's nowhere else to go but Window World. Mark Cox here. My friends at Window World are doing something now they've never done before. That is offering up to 36 months interest-free financing for your purchase. So you get the great windows put in now, you get the energy efficiency, the great look, and then you have 36 months to pay for it. How about that? Window World has been around for a long time, and their reputation speaks for itself. They are highly rated in the Better Business Bureau and all of the rating agencies. They're big supporters of our St. Louis Blues, and here's the thing. If you mention you heard this on the Mark Cox Morning Show in 97.1, you're going to be entered in a drawing for 4 Blues tickets during the upcoming season, and that's great. They're going to pick a winner every month, and good luck to you. If you need new windows, I'm telling you, Window World is the way to go. 314-993-1800. That's 993-1800 or windowworldstlouis.com.
I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Save big on our ready-to-move-in market homes with 3.9% financing if qualified on selected homes. Select from a wide variety of home styles and prime locations. No worries or waiting since we have selected all the most popular features and save thousands in interest. Don't miss this opportunity to own one of these move-in ready homes. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here, and so are St. Louis's conservative thought leaders. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Appreciate you being with us on a Monday afternoon. Kamala Harris and her recent realization that, the economy right now, for people like you and me, it's been a little bit tough. She's got a solution for it.
We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families so they have a chance not just to get by, but to get ahead. To get ahead. Because look, while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high.
Well, Kamala, I believed in a past where maybe we could afford the daily goods and services that we need. But those policies that she's been in charge of don't seem to be what has lowered those costs. We are joined now by Steve Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation, and also Trump Economic Advisor. Steve, welcome back to the show. She sees a future where we have lower costs and she fights inflation. How's she going to do that?
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you. Well, I don't exactly know what she's saying, because on the one hand, she's saying we're going to provide a better standard of living for workers, and yet workers have suffered a big loss in their standard of living over the last 3.5 years while Joe Biden has been president and Kamala Harris has been vice president. And she, by the way, she hasn't distanced herself from the Biden policy. She's really embraced it as if it's been some kind of great success, Bidenomics. So I think Americans are going to have to decide. If you think things are working out well right now in the economy and you want 4 more years of this, then you probably should vote for Kamala Harris. But if you're worried about where we're going, and I'm really worried about it, I think I'm really worried about a financial crisis. I'm really worried about a recession at some point that could be really painful, like we've seen, like we saw in 2008. I hope I'm wrong about that, but it just seems like everything we're doing in Washington right now is so wrong. And I think what Kamala is promising is more of the same.
Yeah. We're speaking with Steve Moore right now. The thing about what we're doing right now being so wrong, it's wrong if the goals and intention that one has are like yours, which is where the people control the assets and have the opportunity to have success. I sometimes worry that the situation in this country right now is a success for the people who are in the White House, because maybe this is the outcome that they've been trying to achieve, where you need to lean on government a little bit more for the provisions that one requires to make it through the day.
Well, I live, as you know, in the swamp. I live in Washington, D.C. and the surrounding area, and we're doing just fine. Thank you so much. We're doing great. The rest of the country, not so much. And so if you want to feed the beast and, continue to allow government to grow and grow, then Kamala's your girl. No doubt about that. But a lot of these programs that they keep creating only benefit the people who work in and around government. And so that's kind of a warning that this may not have a happy ending. And, meanwhile, Trump's out there. Did you see the latest? I don't know if you saw this yet, Anita. That now Kamala says she's for not taxing tips.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
What do you think? Yeah. She's got this big new idea.
First they attacked the issue. Oh, my God, this is the worst issue, worst idea ever. And then when they saw people like it, they said, she didn't even attribute it to Trump. She just said, I'm not going to tax tips. When 3 weeks ago she was saying this is the terrible idea. So it really is amazing. I call her the Kamala the chameleon, because I don't know from one day to the next. I really don't what her position is.
You mentioned something in your first statement here about you're worried about where this economy could go. Yeah. And I'm thinking about Donald Trump and that hour-long presser that he stood up and answered questions from everybody. Yeah. I think he said the word depression if we don't get this thing right. How bad could it get?
Well, I think a depression is a little bit of an overstatement. Trump is known to exaggeration, but I think we could be really bad. I mean, look, we've borrowed, and by the way, Trump's last year in office, we spent too much money too. It was ever since COVID hit, we just really haven't recovered. And so you take all the spending that Trump did, and then Kamala and Biden came in and doubled down on it. We're spending a lot of money we don't have, and it's just like you've got a credit card, right, Annie?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, it would be wonderful if you could just go out and spend whatever you wanted on everything you want and never have to pay it back. But this is sort of the logic of the left. We can just keep running up the credit card.
Yeah.
And that story doesn't usually have a happy ending.
That's not the way it works when I'm using my credit card. They always want their money back and then some. The policies that I've heard from Kamala Harris pretty much boil down to Donald Trump's policy of not taxing tips. The crowd went wild when she says that. I think it's because...
She said, what did she say?
The no taxing tips, when she just said at that rally. The crowd went wild. I think they know that she's trolling Trump, so I think that's why they love it. But she said that in the same breath where she talked about raising the minimum wage. What is the economic plan for Kamala Harris to say after 3 years in office, we really need to get inflation down?
Well, look, the minimum wage is basically for starter jobs. 90% of the people, make the minimum wage. It's their first job. I don't know about you. My first job was minimum wage, $2.25 an hour.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. So all you do is if you raise the minimum wage, you're just making it more difficult for teenagers and young people to start on the economic ladder. And if you can't get on the first rung of the economic ladder, then it's harder to get on the second and third and fourth and start to climb the ladder. So I think, look, I'm for a reasonable minimum wage, but in some states you're at 20. You saw what happened in California when they raised their minimum wage for McDonald's workers.
Yeah.
Half the restaurants closed down, so that didn't work out too well for the workers.
Yeah. Okay, so I know we only got you for about another 90 seconds here. We know what Kamala Harris wants to do, but no plan. What's Trump do to get this back on track?
Well, we have basically what he did last time. We're going to start from day one, drilling for all the energy we have. We're the most abundant energy country in the world. We've got oil, we've got coal, we've got natural gas, and we're going to then make sure that our tax cuts are permanent so that we have some of the lowest tax rates in the world, not the highest tax rates in the world, so we have jobs here. We're going to try to get this budget under control. I mean, it's got to be, you got to have economic growth, and there's hundreds of billions of dollars of programs that Trump has said we can live without. I don't recall a single program that Kamala Harris has said she wants to eliminate. Have you?
No, probably wants to grow them all. More money.
She said all she has is basically tax the rich. Well, guess what? you could take all the money from every millionaire and billionaire in the country, and you're not going to balance the budget because it's a middle-class country. They're coming after us, folks.
Yeah, we've got to fix this in November, and I know that you're an important part of that. Steve Moore, thank you for being with us today. It's always great to speak with you.
Okay, have a great week ahead. Thanks.
Yep, you as
thanks
well.
so much, Jenny. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation. His book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. It's really what it's all about. And he also is an economic advisor to Donald Trump. So a pleasure that he gives us some time every Monday afternoon. We often, a lot of times you'll tune in and expect to hear Steve Moore in the 1 o'clock hour like this. And when he's not here, don't turn off the radio. But a lot of times when you turn on Fox News, he's on Fox News. And we're sitting in here. We know he's not coming on, or maybe he was going to make it. And then you see him on the TV and you're like, okay. We were going to do that with General Kellogg today. He couldn't make it on the show at 12:25, and he was doing a Fox hit at 12:25. So then you're like, oh, well, they weren't lying. He didn't change his schedule around us, but he was on Fox. So we appreciate the connections that we're able to have. Economically speaking, when Kamala Harris comes out and starts talking about inflation and how she understands, she gets you. She knows what it's like. You created this problem. How does she feel? Like, how does she look herself in the mirror and complain about or acknowledge the fact that you as a voter are dealing with tough times right now because inflation is killing you? Well, it's because she doesn't have to reconcile that. She doesn't even pause to look in the mirror when she's having these, when she's making these statements in front of an audience that loves her. I saw a comment here from one of our listeners, and it was talking about how, all of these policy issues are a problem. Here it is. It's from Molly. Meanwhile, Trump is fixated on her rally crowds. I wonder why we all lose. There's something to that. I feel like there's a lot that can be, when you're talking about things that maybe they're important issues for people to discuss, but Donald Trump, you don't need to be the one to comment on it. It's not going to stop. We're not going to get to the point where Donald Trump stops picking on these things. He's not going to be contained. He's not going to be somebody who all of a sudden decides to approach this differently. Less is more with Donald Trump. It was perfectly exemplified in the debate against Joe Biden. He stayed out of the way. He is in a place where he knows that Joe Biden is going to be the headline after this, that he's going to be a failure in his own right, and he managed to keep it quiet. Can you find cut 22? It's not in the folder, please. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, oh my gosh, he's actually doing it. He's following through. He's making it happen. He's keeping his mouth shut. He's answering the questions. He had a few, small zingers, but nothing that is really headline stuff. I mean, the headlines after the debate were all Joe Biden. He let that happen. And he could have very easily stepped in the way of that massive story and put himself in a position to fail in that regard. And he didn't do it. So I have hope that in the future he can do the same thing. But that is my prayer, that Donald Trump can, as the kids say, and I hate this phrase, understand the assignment and not get in his own way. It's the key point to winning this election, to not steal victory from the jaws of defeat, or whichever way you're supposed to say it. He is not a politician. Greg Gutfeld the other day nailed this one on the 5.
You can't expect a political experience from somebody who is never going to be a politician. And Trump is never going to be a politician. He wasn't raised as one. He doesn't act like one. He did a 70-minute relentless question and answer period. What should be gained from that? Like, when you walk away from that, you can go, God, I wish you would rein that in. But the thing is, the one thing that you saw, if let's say with the 5, we have millions of viewers. A lot of them don't like Trump, and a lot of them are Democrats. So they're listening to me tell you why this matters. He's engaged. And that's really necessary right now. All of the pistons are working. He was there for 70 minutes. He answered every question. You can tell that he's going to be like that with everything. Because he is. There's not that phony engagement of the establishment politician where they say exactly enough. It's neat and it's tidy, and it's almost impossible to remember what they said after they said it. Politicians are trained to say nothing, and he can't do that. He never got that training. So I think when you're watching vintage Trump, you have to realize that this is how he's going to be in meetings with people who aren't friendly to the United States or people who want something from America, and we demand scrutiny and reciprocity. So just replace the media with all those people. He's not a figurehead. So if you're looking at him, you're going, I can't stand it. He's not a figurehead. He's an agent. He's your agent. He's America's lawyer. He's in the room there to represent his client, America, your needs and your concerns. He's supposed to be he's not interested in impressing the other people in the room. I wanted an agent or a lawyer with that relentless energy that makes people upset. And the country needs that. We've had 4 years of perk-hungry elites who are there for the pomp and not for the people. So it's kind of, you have to look at this stuff as a necessity, that this guy is going to be that way in a room with people that have been screwing us over forever. Do you want him or do you want Kamala? Who do you want in that room? You want the guy that nobody likes because they don't like him for a reason.
I think Greg Gutfeld nailed it when he's explaining this. And I want to make you think for a second just about what you know about what Donald Trump would do as the president, but also how certain elements of Donald Trump make you feel. Because this is the key to the Harris Walz success. The key is to make you not think at all about what he will do and to only make Donald Trump about what he makes you feel. And the truth of this is where I have to remind myself to step back from this too. So I'm speaking to myself when I say this. The things that Donald Trump makes you feel, it's likely for most of you, maybe not all of you, it's not as much that he invokes those emotions to you. It's the way that people who hate Donald Trump, when they talk to you, when they tweet at you, if they're commenting on social media to you, if there is an instance where you have an interaction with somebody who cannot stand Donald Trump, they're lefties. They're allowed to be lefties. They're Democrats. That's what makes this country great. We get to think for ourselves. The key is that we actually do. The emotions, the things that I get frustrated about with Donald Trump when he does things, I'm not so sensitive that when he says something maybe a little extra that I'm like, gosh, that hurts me so much. I'm so hurt by it. That's not the case at all. I actually don't. As long as he's not putting us in a position where we're going to be incurring danger, I don't really care about the words that he says, or really, in fact, the words that anyone else says anyway. What matters is the meaning. What matters is the intention. The thing that the Harris Walz ticket can do to effectively beat Donald Trump is to make you bristle every time Donald Trump talks, because the next time you encounter a Trump hater, they're going to say these things to you that you feel like you have to defend, and you don't want to defend them. So don't. Are they defending Kamala Harris and her history, the way she has led into being the vice president of the United States, the things she's said, the things she's done, the things that she has completely turned a purposeful blind eye to? Are they spending their time defending any of that? Of course they're not, because the whole time we're all wrapped up in trying to defend something that Donald Trump said that some softy on the other side thinks is mean and it hurts my... Just don't. You don't have to. I absolve you of the responsibility of spending time defending how Donald Trump makes people feel. You don't have to do it. It's not necessary. Just talk policies. And if they don't want to talk policies, their sensitivities, their soft emotions, you're not going to get them over that. Move on. Find somebody that cares about being able to afford a future for their kids. Find somebody who cares about living in a country where the border actually matters. Find somebody who cares about the right to make decisions about how to raise your own children and grandchildren within the moral structure that you choose for your family, because in this country, at least for now, that's still important. Find those people. Talk to them and make sure they vote. Let's speak to Congressman Mike Bost. He's coming to join us in studio here. When we return, I'm excited to have the congressman from Illinois' 12th District right in here in just a minute. He is the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, and he's going to talk to you when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
You want to buy a vehicle from somebody you can trust, someone who you know will not take advantage of you or try to hard sell. This is not how Cassens works. And I know this, and this is why I'm a repeat buyer there. My current 2 vehicles that we keep in our garage, those are from Cassens. I drive a Jeep from there, and I drive a Pacifica from there. And they have been wonderful to deal with through the purchasing process, but also in the maintenance process afterwards. Cassens & Sons Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is online at cassenscan.com. Cassenscan.com. But you can go drive through their lot right now. If you just get on 270, head north about a mile. On 159 past Walmart on the right, Cassens is on the left. Great people. The sales folks that are there have been there for years and years and years and years. They hardly have any turnover, and they can help you through the entire buying process. If they don't have on the lot what you're looking for, they'll help you find it. Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, that's where I shop, and I encourage you to give them the opportunity to earn your business as well. They will do a great job. I am confident of it. 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712. In Glen Carbon, Illinois, Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram online at cassenscan.com.
If you have an IRS problem, getting accurate legal advice could help get this all behind you right now. Hi, I'm local attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. The IRS made new changes that make it easier to settle your IRS debt for a reduced amount. Not all our clients qualify, but under the IRS's new Fresh Start program, you may be able to resolve your IRS problems quickly and for less money. But don't wait. An IRS problem is a legal problem. You need someone who understands both the IRS and the law. Don't trust your tax problems to some TV personality. The Drury Law Firm has handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years, and your first visit is completely free and confidential. And I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So if you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120, or go to LanceDruryLaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney. You need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Tired of hearing scary ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. We may be able to significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe to the IRS. Taxpayers should know. Huge savings are now being made available through the Fresh Start program that can drastically reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. Even if you haven't filed your taxes in years or are facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or under audit, we can help. We've earned over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today. To see what savings you may qualify for, visit us online at TRA.com or call us at 800-511-0379, 800-511-0379. Again, that's 800-511-0379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Monday afternoon, we've seen some national polls showing Kamala Harris in the lead, but what about in the swing states that matter? We'll talk about it starting at 3.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
I didn't accept the letter as anything but a letter. I mean, there are some people who were unhappy with the letter. Let me say, some said that some people were unhappy with the letter. I'll put it in somebody else's mouth because it was I don't even know. It didn't sound like Joe Biden to me. It really didn't.
Oh man, Nancy Pelosi must not be on Joe Biden's side anymore. When she's out saying these things publicly, I guess on the Sunday shows, she's not lending him any cover. We've got Congressman Mike Bost in studio with us. He is the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, and he is the representative for Illinois' 12th District. Congressman, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me in.
You bet. Nancy Pelosi, I mean, to me, I've always seen the Democrats, and come hell or high water,
they stick together.
They stick together.
Well,
it seems as though Joe Biden's on the outside of that.
You know, I mean, this all went down as she talked nice to him. Then we find out that she said it can be done the easy way or the hard way. She stabbed him in the back, stabbed him in the chest, kicked him to the curb, and, she's done. She's moving on.
I mean, so Biden drops out from running for re-election. He's still the president of the United States. I'm reading on Fox News the headline behind you, Israel on alert, bracing for possible Iran strike.
Yeah.
The world is in a moment right now where America needs to be at its best.
Anytime that, well, first off, anytime, no matter what the situation is in the world or in the nation, you need to have a commander-in-chief who is ready at a moment's notice, that knows what's going on, or at least is surrounding themselves with the persons that know the most about what's going on, but should have at least a 36,000-foot level. We have 2 carriers groups in the region. We're preparing. We're doing for what we're supposed to, but the question is, who made the call? Where is the president on this? He hasn't been talking to anyone, since this happened a couple weeks ago. We were told earlier today, I think, that he's being briefed, but he was not going to come out and give any press conference because he's working on this. And we keep hearing this, and it's kind of been the whole presidency that's pretty well been this way.
Is he capable of doing the job?
I don't know. According to his people that surround him, they say yes. I don't know.
Are they reading that off of a card when they say yes?
I think.
No bueno.
And it is. Look, politically, let's drop the political and let's actually look at what the nation is and try to figure out who is the best person to have in there. If he's not capable, then who's making the decisions?
That's the question, because those people weren't elected.
No. Our system is set up that you will have a commander-in-chief who is responsible to the people. And right now, it's a case where you don't know whether this president, and that's a scary thing to send that signal to our enemies, especially with Russia, where they're at, China in their position, and Israel having to face Iran and all of this. So it's a tough time that we need a commander-in-chief.
Congressman Bost in studio with us right now. So you've worked with Donald Trump. You've supported Donald Trump. He has supported you. If Donald Trump is in office right now and in command, do you feel as though Iran is as bold as they are acting right now?
Let me explain this. If Donald Trump had been in office, you would not have seen the attack on Israel. If Donald Trump had been in office, you would not have seen the attack on Ukraine. Because you have to have a bold, strong president that gives themselves gives the appearance that go ahead, cross a line. I'll tell you where the line's at. Don't do it. And if you do, it's not going to be good for you. And then you either believe them.
Yes. Because this president says don't all the time.
Right.
But there's something about Trump.
It's kind of like a parent that says they're going to discipline a child and never does. It's the same thing. Once you get your situation where they know that you'll do what you say, they won't cross that line again. And you know, Reagan was a great example of that. You know.
Yes.
And he, well, you know, the Iran hostage situation. He told him, if the day that I am inaugurated, their feet had better be on U.S. soil. They were as he was being inaugurated. So this statement of a strong president, Donald Trump has that. Whether they believe it because they think he's a strong character, whether they think he's just crazy enough to do it, it doesn't matter, because they fear a policy of, we have a big stick and we are willing to use it. If you don't understand, we have a certain policy in place. Don't mess with a free nation.
Yeah. It's I love that you said a parent who doesn't discipline their children, because I have a mom look. And if I say, if the kids are screwing, I'm like, hey, don't cut that out. Or if I go, don't.
Right. Yeah. And then look,
they're going to test one of those and not test the other.
That's right.
And we all know what it's like to be around kids who just don't listen.
Right.
And they haven't been taught to.
And trust me, when we know from world history, a dictator, the only way you calm down a dictator is be a stronger force than he is with his battle behind him, or with his battle group behind him.
We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost. He is the United States Congressman for Illinois' 12th District. I want to go through some of the major players right now that are campaigning to run to win the presidency. Of course, we're talking about Trump now. Kamala Harris. I don't know how much experience you have working directly with Kamala Harris.
I really haven't had a lot with Kamala Harris. She was in the Senate and then now as vice president. So the Senate and House, you know, don't. But I'm going to tell you, Tim Walsh, I know well.
So I want to get to that here in a second. I want to know if you think that, you know, Biden stepped down, and Biden himself said that his party told him he was a liability. And so
and since then, Nancy Pelosi has so much as admitted that that's what they did. So so is it a case where finally Biden will then respond? I don't know. Once again, it boils down to who's handling him.
Is a Harris presidency different than a Biden presidency?
No, only different in the fact that she's trying now to modify her positions through the election, but you can't take back what has been years of showing exactly who you are. You can't rewrite who you are 6, 7, and 8 times in a month and a half.
What if you can, because the media doesn't force her to be
honest?
Well,
that's a problem as well. But I would hope that there's enough of the people paying attention to the media side that doesn't just carry that narrative. And let me tell you, that's a small group.
Your gentleman over here just said you can stay for a second segment.
Oh, good. I'm glad to do that.
I want to ask you before we go to a break that the American people deserve honesty. The media is supposed to work on behalf of the people, not on behalf of any party, either side.
Right. But unfortunately, that's fell by the wayside. And it's proved out over and over again.
My concern about November's election is that the media won't be fair and that the elections won't be fair.
Right. Well, remember, once the media gets, I agree with that, that the media won't be fair. The media hasn't been fair in a long time. It's just now we're seeing it very, 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 very clearly. And as far as the elections won't be fair, I'm worried about that too. That being said, it's up to the states that have to handle it. You and I have had this discussion before. The states, because of the 10th Amendment, and because it's very, very clear that the elections cycle has to be controlled by the state. Now, that being said, in those areas where we just carried a bill that said that must be United States citizens. Okay, we actually carried that, and it's amazing that we had to do that. Then also for those areas where we have control over, I actually carried a bill that passed out of the House that said that that Washington, D.C., now understand that is a territory, all right, and that's why we have oversight over them. They had voted through the city council that citizens could vote in their local elections, and I passed a bill that sent over. Now the Senate hasn't picked it up, but we passed a bill out of the House that said that you can't do that.
Well, you brought it up, and we're going to talk about this when we come back. You've served with
Tim
Walz. You know him a little bit.
A little bit.
You know his kind.
Yep.
Let's talk about it when we come back.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds
All right.
great.
You're not going to want to miss this. We've got Representative Mike Bost in studio with us right now. Great representative from Illinois' 12th District. Excited to have him in studio. And he's going to give us the inside look on former Congressman Tim Walz, current Governor Tim Walz, hopeful Vice President Tim Walz on the Annie Frey Show when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Values are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest TrueHold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? TrueHold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. TrueHold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much TrueHold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Are you ready to shape the future? Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to share your thoughts, ideas, and concerns. We can create a vibrant, inclusive future for all generations.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? Yes or no? It's a simple question, but it's maybe not as easy to answer. So we want to know what you think. Jump on Annie's YouTube page and let us know why you voted the way you voted. The time is 1:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Focus Marines Foundation is here to help veterans transition from service to civilian life, and we're here to support them. This is Mark Cox inviting you to get involved in this month's Conservatives Care effort by visiting 971talk.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
was cooling me, but so far has not.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I've got a couple clips here, and they're both a minute long, so I'm not going to play them because I want to talk more to Congressman Mike Bost. We can play them maybe later. But this whole conversation surrounding Tim Walz, who was a congressman and served with Congressman Bost in Congress. That's a lot of Congresses. Then he went to be the governor of Minnesota. Now he's trying to be the vice president on the Kamala Harris ticket. A lot of the conversation right now is around this concept of stolen valor. You are a Marine, Congressman.
Yep.
Thank you for your service. I thank him for his service in the Minnesota National Guard. What do you make of all of this?
Well, here's the thing. I've seen this many times. People want to expand on their record. And for whatever reason, the first time I was introduced to Tim, they actually told me he was a sergeant major. Didn't find out until the other day.
Which is what he's not.
Which he's not. He was never promoted to sergeant major. I'm a corporal. And when I tell people, I tell them I'm a corporal. I don't say I'm a corporal, or I don't say I'm a sergeant. Well, I would have been a sergeant. No.
You're a corporal.
I'm a corporal.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I could tell you that odds are, had I stayed in because of my time in grade, I would have probably been a sergeant. I chose not to, so I'm still a corporal. Also, the thing about when he carried a gun in combat. Now, if you said I was trained with that gun, or that rifle, okay, because you don't say gun in Marine Corps, by the way, but Army you can say.
Good to know, learning things.
It's a rifle, okay. So if I was trained with a rifle, that's the rifle I was trained with to go into battle, though I didn't go. I was. So was he. Because, but he doesn't do that. And this didn't stop there. That's what's really wild. Even with them, that's the military. Now, that I'm telling you, the stolen valor thing is we watch that pretty close as veterans. Okay, don't claim something you're not.
Right.
Don't say you were in somewhere that you got a medal that you didn't get. But what's really wild is when the vice president introduced him, she said that he was chairman of the VA committee. He's not chairman of the VA committee. He was not chairman of the committee. He was ranking member. If you'll remember, my first 2 years, I was ranking member because that's when you're in the minority. What your job as ranking member is to, yes, try to help move good legislation, but be the person to say no on the other. You don't have the responsibility. As chairman, you don't call the shot, or as ranking member, you don't call the shots.
Yeah.
You have 3 times or 2.5 times as many staff coordinating the oversight of all of the VA activities. All of this, the chairman is completely different than ranking member. I've been both, but for all of a sudden, for the vice president to make a statement, he's chairman. Once again, he's a sergeant major. He's chairman, putting him in a position where it is trying to inflate who he is with not true facts, and what the bad thing is, the facts aren't bad.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I want to ask you, because Congressman Bost, when I hear you're a Marine, that's like you've maximized my respect for you. You can tell me the details of things but I'm not going to respect you more because you have my whole full heart of respect. And for civilians, because I like how you said, like, you veterans pay attention to these stolen valor things.
You do.
If you're a civilian like myself, I have dear friends of mine who have served in combat in Operation Iraqi Freedom and so on and so forth. They know the details.
Right.
Taxpayer citizen voters, the details don't really mean as much to us unless you're trying to say specific things
to try to inflate who you are.
That try to pull something out of somebody. And with Tim Walz, when I hear these different levels of service, I don't respect him more or less because he was one step ahead or one step behind. Right. I'm grateful that people are willing to serve. So why would he do this?
But I don't know why he would do it. I wouldn't do it, but he has done it, and that's the problem.
Is that not debatable?
No. It's not debatable because now the military records show he was never a sergeant major.
He has said
he was
untrue things.
Yes.
Repeatedly.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, good heavens, the person that introduced me to him was the former chairman of the VA committee, Dr. Phil Rowe, who is also a veteran. And then when he looked at me and said he's a sergeant major, that meant something to me.
Correct.
Okay?
Because you get it.
I got it, right? Being a top sergeant is still okay. It's just not sergeant major. And why inflate something that just accept your military record for what it is? In this case, but it is showing a clear pattern, as I said, Sergeant Major and Chairman, to try to pump up.
There's a pattern.
There is a pattern. And let me tell you, they've got to do that pattern to try to inflate it, because when you look at his voting record, he votes farther left than Kamala.
That's my next question, because we are hearing that he's moderate, and Congressman Bost, if I keep hearing about his Midwestern values
I know.
one more time, I'm like, no. I've never heard him say "ope" on stage before. I've never seen him bump into someone and feel really bad about it. The Midwestern values,
Right.
his values seem to be extreme.
Right. And let me tell you that he is part of that machine that is Nancy Pelosi. And I'll give you an example. When we were working on the Mission Act, which is the second part of what allows a veteran to go out into the community to receive their service, it was a very, very good bill. He stood up against it in committee, which he probably thought it was a good bill, but Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats put pressure on him, because what happened is the unions that work in the VA feel like that's a step towards privatization. It is not. But the thing is, it's not about the employees at the VA. It's about the veterans who are receiving the service. And instead, he took the position of the Democrat Party over what was best for the veterans in a vote.
So when you hear people saying he's kind of moderate, he's Midwestern, I've played a whole bunch of different things that he said last.
When he was in committee,
yeah,
he was a nice guy, but his voting record doesn't show he's moderate at all. It shows he is a strong left. And that's what he chose to do, and it worked for him because it got him governor of a state where you needed to be that.
The governor before him, Pawlenty, was a Republican, correct?
That's correct.
What happened in Minnesota?
There are a lot of influx into Minnesota of let me say it this way. There is a lot of migration into Minnesota that changes the dynamics of what Minnesota was.
Why Minnesota? Why is the migration to Minnesota?
I don't know what happened. Whether it was adding on to the sanctuary cities, the encouragement of certain groups to go into the inner city.
Do you know if Minnesota has been one of the places that the government has established as a refugee location for reestablishment of people who have come here as refugees?
I don't know. I can't say that for sure because I don't know what their actual language was that they put in place. Do they have it? Yes, they do. But I don't know if they did it by law. Okay.
So when Governor Tim Walz is selected to be the vice presidential candidate, in your mind, what direction does Walz take the Harris ticket?
He continues to drive it to the left. He has to. I mean, putting feminine hygiene products in a boy's bathroom.
Yeah.
Now but they think that J.D. Vance drinking Diet Mountain Dew is weird. I want to let you know I drink Diet Mountain Dew.
Yes, everybody drinks Diet Mountain Dew.
Well,
Diet Mountain Dew is doing fine.
Never past 11:30 in the morning though, because then I can't take the caffeine.
Yeah, but see, you have a Diet Mountain Dew schedule.
I do.
That's not weird. Everybody knows how long they can drink their Diet Mountain Dew.
But doing what Tim Walz did as a governor, I think that's a little weird.
It's very weird. And I made this point earlier, forward this along to anybody because I haven't heard anyone talking about this, but as a woman, I don't expect feminine hygiene products to be provided to me in any restroom I go into, but I would really like to see if in Minnesota all female restrooms have feminine products in them, because I bet that they don't. When I'm watching Kamala Harris not talk to the media, I guess there's a possibility that exists that she could get through the rest of this election without having to be pressed. She's going to have to debate.
I don't see how the American people take it, even if the press want to be light on her on this. You are asking to become the leader of the free world. Yes, it's the president of the United States, but you are going to be the leader of the free world. And we've already seen what it's like to not have someone present to do that.
Yes.
And or someone else pulling the strings. And so the question is, do they keep her? It's not COVID. They can't lock her in the basement, but they've got to get her out to talk. Now, do I believe
They
that
have to get
she's
her
going
off the prompter.
Yeah, yeah.
to talk.
And
But
I
she
believe
is out there.
I believe this honeymoon lasts through their convention.
How's Chicago? You, as an Illinois representative, you've worked in state government, you've been in Congress for a while. What's going to happen in Chicago?
You know, I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting to see how the state government, what threats they get there. I think maybe after the assassination attempt on Trump, some of it calmed down. I pray it has, because the original thought was there was going to be so many riots up there this next weekend that they couldn't control it like they did in 1968.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was with what they did in 1968. Remember, that was both racial tension and Vietnam tension.
I've heard about it. I don't remember it.
I do. Sorry. I was very young, though.
Yeah,
I was very
absolutely.
young. I was 7 years old.
Congressman Bost, before we let you go, only got about 90 seconds left. Everyone talks about Trump, Kamala Harris, so on and so forth. We need to win the House. The Republicans need to dominate in Congress.
We need to increase our numbers in the House and win the Senate. I believe it is. We have some great candidates around this nation. We got a lot of people working hard on them. I'm working with them and trying to get out every time I can to help them. When I say, and what's really wild is we are probably the most diverse Republican Party that we've ever been as far as race and gender is concerned, but not policy-wise, okay? We are truly a group of people who believe in our conservative values, and we're going to be working to make sure that this nation holds.
We've been speaking with Congressman Mike Bost, and I'm so grateful that you came in here. I'm so grateful that you were so accessible to talk to our audience here. You got 30 seconds. What do people need to do right now to help secure victory, yes, in Illinois and across the country?
Get involved. First off, let me tell you that yes, get involved with your party of choice and support, and the Republican Party I would prefer. But also, let me tell you this. I hope that people at the local level, actually, if there's not people running, and just a little after the fact now, but pay attention and get so much involved that you might be able to get on a city council or anything like that, because that's what we need.
Awesome. Thank you for being in here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for the donuts.
Yeah.
You brought us donuts. Last time was bagels.
It was bagels. Donuts this time. Yeah.
Donuts this time. Thank you. You've been listening to Congressman Mike Bost, Illinois' 12th District Representative, Chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, and our friend here on The Annie Fry Show. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney. You need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Well, it's hot outside in the summer. It's not really hot right now. It doesn't really matter if you're trying to move hot air or cold air through the ductwork in your home. What you want to make sure is that when it comes from the unit to disperse into your home, that it goes through the ductwork to the ventilation where it's supposed to be. Air Comfort Service understands that this is a problem in many, many homes, and they have a solution for it. And I've had the AeroSeal duct sealing in my home, and it made a world of difference in the even distribution of the air that I'm paying to heat and the air I'm paying to cool. If you notice that the floors in your home really heat and cool very, very differently, if you feel like your air conditioner or heater is always running and it's not getting the upstairs heated or cooled the way it's supposed to, reach out to Air Comfort Service and say, Annie was talking about a duct sealing. What can you tell me? 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. My friends at Air Comfort Service will help you from the jump. You can find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Concerns about escalating violence. I'm Tom Graham, Fox News. Israel is bracing for a potential attack by Iran as tensions in the Middle East continue to rise. Fox's Alex Hogan is in Tel Aviv.
Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant spoke with U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin about Iranian preparation and the potential for an Iranian attack. This as Iran today through tomorrow is carrying out these military drills along the border with Iraq. These are drills that are supposed to increase the country's preparation for combat. After a series of attacks in Gaza over the weekend last night, Hamas hinted that it might not return to the negotiation table this Thursday. Instead, it wants a plan drawn up based on previous attacks. This as at the same time we have seen continued crossfire in northern Israel between the IDF and Hezbollah.
The Pentagon is ramping up its presence in the Middle East, deploying a guided missile submarine just last night. Vice President Kamala Harris embracing a Trump campaign tax idea.
Former President Trump started pushing the idea of no taxes on tips a few months ago. And at a rally in Nevada last week, Vice President Kamala Harris made it clear she's on board.
And eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Former President Trump sounding off on Truth Social, writing, quote, "The difference is she won't do it. She just wants it for political purposes. This was a Trump idea." The no taxes on tips proposal has gotten bipartisan backing. A bill from Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz has the support from both of Nevada's Democratic senators. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Crews in Texas are demolishing the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs. In 2017, a mass shooter killed 26 worshipers at that location, wounded another 22. The surviving family members wanted to keep the structure as a memorial. Church members did vote in 2021 to tear it down. America's listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure. Now, 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft. In a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it. Guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Let's continue to keep an eye out for scattered thunderstorms going through our Monday afternoon, but the action kind of fades mid to late afternoon, but still a chance of some heavy downpours of rain. Only 77 for the high. Tonight a break, partly to mostly cloudy, 68. Tuesday partly sunny, okay in the morning, but the next batch of scattered thunderstorms developing Tuesday afternoon, 81. Same kind of pattern on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I was just talking with Jen Teskey about potentially listing my home. I don't know when I'm going to list it. I don't know for certain if I'm going to list it, but a lot of moving parts when you're in this phase of life. And Jen Teskey with Remax Alliance, I love her team. They just expanded their team, and they know how to do this. They know how to navigate the situations that can arise, and everybody's situation is different. So when you go to talk to Jen Teskey and you are thinking, I might want to list my home, is now a good time? That's not a common question. what do you think I could get for it? I filled out a form, and they're going to help me get a good idea of what kind of price we might be looking at. I just ask all of the questions, and you are welcome to do that too. She is the number one person I recommend her to. I just recommended her to a family member recently who's going to be listing their house shortly. Call her at 618-541-1010. 618-541-1010. Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. It's the way to go when you're buying or selling in Illinois. You can find her online at jenteskeyhomes.com.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Seminars Tuesday, August 13th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m.
At Stifel, we put everything into the success of our advisors so they can put everything into your success. That means more than just building you a portfolio. It means we're invested in you and your future. And it means taking a personalized approach to managing your wealth. That's why Stifel's once again the top-ranked wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction. Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel, Nicholas & Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Shop summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts and get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Cleaner for just $8. Offer valid in-store only. The professional parts people can recommend the right brake parts and supplies for your next brake job at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here. Not because of a label, but because conservative ideas actually work. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
All I can say is watch, that's all. Look, I had a really, really bad day in that debate because I was sick. But I have no serious problem. I was talking to Governor Shapiro, who's a friend. We have to win Pennsylvania, my original home state. He and I are putting together a campaign tour in Pennsylvania. I'm going to be campaigning in other states as well. And I'm going to do whatever Kamala thinks I can do to help most.
So there's Joe Biden. He was speaking this weekend on CBS about, I guess, the state of his current presidency and lack of his campaign now that he has stepped aside. And he had even more to say.
The polls we had showed that it was a neck-and-neck race. Would have been down to the wire. But what happened was a number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races. And I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic. You'd be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say, why did so, and I thought it'd be a real distraction.
It was a distraction, but if you felt like you could win, you would have stayed in. So he drops a name there, and he says Nancy Pelosi's name. Usually Democrats don't out each other like that. Usually those conversations wouldn't become public knowledge, but we've seen Nancy Pelosi commenting on Joe Biden, and she did so again.
I didn't accept the letter as anything but a letter. I mean,
I mean, there are some people who were unhappy with the letter. Let me say, some said that some people were unhappy with the letter. I'll put it in somebody else's mouth. Because it was I don't even know, it didn't sound like Joe Biden to me. It really didn't.
That's the only thing she actually says in that clip. She talks herself in circles because she's trying not to say too much. But then she says that the letter, Joe Biden's, I guess, is it his resignation letter? That it didn't sound like Joe Biden. Nancy Pelosi is saying that. Why is Nancy Pelosi saying this? Also, before Joe Biden took the oath of office and became the president of the United States, when Donald Trump was still the president, why did Nancy Pelosi lead the refining of how the 25th Amendment would be invoked? When Nancy Pelosi was asked at that time, when Donald Trump was still the president after the election, and Joe Biden was going to be the president of the United States, and the Democrats decided in the Democrat-controlled House, hey, let's take a good close look at the 25th Amendment. Why did they do that? I think we know. And I think we've known for quite some time. The phrase that has been repeated in the media regularly surrounding Joe Biden and his stepping down is that people finally said to him, listen, we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. So Joe Biden was the president of the United States and was at the whim of the Nancy Pelosi's and the Barack Obamas the whole time he was the president. He's a managed man. And if he can be managed within the United States, what kind of management could be done for this person who could possibly be influenced by people who don't have our best interests in mind? Or maybe Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi don't have our best interests in mind. Maybe they have their own best interests in mind. I truly believe that the 25th Amendment conversation that was led by Nancy Pelosi in the House of Representatives was always about Joe Biden. And I think if you went back and rolled the tapes during that time, I said that on the air at that point. This isn't about Donald Trump. They're not going to 25th Amendment Donald Trump. Mike Pence is not going to participate in that system and that process. It's not going to happen. His cabinet is not going to 25th Amendment. You can talk about it in the left-leaning media all you want and make it seem like it's an issue that was never going to happen to Donald Trump. But it became a quick and important detail for Nancy Pelosi to make sure that system, that process was on lock. And she did. Which has always led me to believe that Joe Biden was always under the thumb of the people who run the party. And if you're not the person who is elected to that position, that seems treasonous to me. That's a big word. But I don't think it's an inappropriate word there. Why is this man still the president of the United States? That's my question. He's not qualified.
He's getting a free pass from everybody, too. I mean, him and Kamala Harris both. He's done one interview since, July 21st. She's done zero. Ultimately, as much as I want to yell at the media for not trying here, ultimately it's voters. If they think that you're going to vote for them anyway, they don't give a rip about telling you about their policies. They're just going to rely on the feelings that you might have toward either Donald Trump or toward Kamala Harris, making you feel good about her, making you feel good about Tim Walz. It's really sad as a person who does care, and not just me, but I mean, so many millions and millions of Americans care about policy on the left and the right. The left, you've got to speak up and say we want to hear from our candidates. Otherwise, they will not do interviews.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, what I was going to say is that, it's a risk versus reward calculation on behalf of the politician. And if there's no risk, if there's no reward for it, then there's no risk. So the reward has to be, or the risk has to be not talking to the people. So like you were saying, Ryan, you just got to go out there and not, support that type of behavior where they don't talk to the people.
Watching the media cover this race, watching the media cover these campaigns is nauseating at best. And, ABC's John Carl, this is just a 19-second clip of John Carl saying one thing in 2019 and 2023, And then in 2024, he changes the game on Kamala Harris's border responsibilities. John Carl from ABC.
It was back in 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, that the president put Vice President Kamala Harris in playing a critical role in terms of trying to stop the flow of migrants across the border. I mean, she was more than 2 years ago she got this responsibility. No, she's not actually. She wasn't the border zone.
And then there's two clips there, and they're mushed together. But that last part is him in 2024 correcting against the idea of the border czar thing. This is the game. This is the ruse. They use words to confuse people in a way that they don't ever have to talk about truth because you just argue about words. Everybody knows that Joe Biden put Kamala Harris in charge of the border. I know where Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were sitting at the table when Joe Biden said that she was the most qualified person to do this. So you have to repeatedly ask yourself, is the situation at the southern border on purpose? Is the southern border policy of the Biden-Harris administration a success? Listen to Chris Clem, who we went to the border with.
Well, I tell you what, she, as vice president or border czar, whatever title you give her, she's been responsible for the worst border crisis that we've had in history. Zero credibility, zero integrity when it comes to what she's saying and what she's done on the border. As senator, as the clip showed, as senator, she opposed, supporting border security and the immigration enforcement operations that we need to do this job that keep America and our border safe. This is classic flip-flopping. She's pandering to this Senate bill, which had no teeth. It was not a border security bill. If she's serious, call Schumer and let's get H.R. 2 back on the books. But a tiger cannot change its stripes just because it's convenient for a campaign. Her history on the border will be our future, and if she's elected, will be our country's border's demise.
So I was watching Fox earlier this morning, and this man's name is Chris Clem. He's the former Yuma Sector Border Patrol chief. When I saw him on the screen, I was like, that guy looks familiar. I couldn't place him, and then I saw that he was the Yuma Sector Border Patrol chief, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I talked to him for 45 minutes on a bus while I was driving along the southern border wall, and he was telling me all of the stories about how unempowered, disempowered something? What's the right word for it?
Disempowered.
Disempowered? Sure, sounds good. That Border Patrol is right now, and that they're paper pushers, they're processors. When you hear Kamala Harris say we need to spend X more dollars on getting Border Patrol agents to the southern border, they're just trying to process people coming in smoother. That's what they're trying to do. Kamala Harris, do we need to stop the flow of people into the United States? Yes or no? Well, this nation was built on immigrants and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they did not come here like these people are coming here. The same version of government, and I say this as somebody who lives in the state of Illinois, watching the blue states of this nation lock people down, mask people up, keep people from being able to live their lives. Governor Walz of Minnesota encouraging people to snitch on their neighbors if they were doing something that wasn't according to the law. That's a Governor Walz policy. His phrase where he comes out and says, mind your damn business, that's the line that Donald Trump and specifically J.D. Vance need to start saying over and over and over again. Kamala Harris wants to plagiarize Trump's no tax on tips policy. Let's get J.D. Vance out there to repeatedly show how the progressive left big government policies of Harris and Walz is all up in your business all of the time. The mind your damn business party is the Trump ticket. Full stop. You want to live your life, the classic liberalism that probably our parents and Gen Xers grew up with? That is the Trump party right now. If you are libertarian, you have to understand that the far left has gotten control of the Democrat side of this ticket and is going to take this in a rapidly paced speed towards socialism. That's their goal. They don't shy away from that. They call themselves Democrat socialists. And they think that if they put Democrat in front of it, it's fine. Hillary Clinton, when she was running, was asked, what's the difference between a Democrat and a socialist? And she wouldn't answer the question.
Yeah. She was better at kind of walking around it. But if you ask that question to one of these candidates, they would probably just say there is no difference.
Well, and you might say at this point in time, there is no difference. I think that there is a difference. But I think that the Democrat Party can't define it because it'll be isolating to people. They can't segment their party, even though their party is segmented. They can't give it a name because we all know that once the left puts a bold-faced word out there to mean something, then that's how they don't have to have conversations or discussions or debates or even arguments about important things. You just label stuff so that you can use it as like a hate sword towards your enemy and make sure that they won't ever open their mouths because they got a knife to their throat. That's the way the left operates. I think that Kamala Harris, when she gets onto the debate stage and has to start talking on her own, I think she's going to do herself in. Donald Trump, again, has to let her do it. And I know he's capable because he did it the last time. He's going to be on X tonight with Elon Musk. I'm excited about this.
I'm glad he's doing all this. I mean, doing the exact opposite of what the Democrat ticket is doing and going to the people as many times, as often as you possibly can, circumventing old-fashioned media and doing new media. Do it all day. Do it now until November 5th.
I'm looking on Real Donald Trump on X right now, and there is a lot of media being put up right now about Trump. 2 hours ago, they put up the image promoting Donald Trump and Elon Musk live on X Monday, 7 p.m. our time. I intend to be at home and watching this. I don't know that I'm going to live stream it myself, but I will most likely be on X, and you can follow me at Annie Fry Show there. But 2 hours ago, he tweeted out a video. It's just him walking down a hallway, sternly, stoically walking down a hallway with the importance of what is at stake. It's 30 seconds. It's just an ad. That was 2 hours ago. Another 2 hours ago, another ad. Meet San Francisco radical Kamala Harris. Yes, please. More of that. I haven't watched that video yet. 1 hour ago, Trump was right about everything. Another ad, and this is kind of a nostalgic looking ad where it shows young Trump, at least from the jump. And then 23 minutes ago, another minute-long ad. He's successfully walking down the steps of Air Force One, walking with his grandchildren. I saw this tweet, and I wish I remember who put this out there because I would like to give him credit. It was like somebody who looked like they do what I do in another town. Like they were like a 20,000 X account has a radio show. I'm going to try to find it on the break. But they said Donald Trump needs to start saturating every dollar that they can of media into those few swing states with all positive Trump ads. And I thought, yeah, I think I like that. If the ad comes from Donald Trump, you have so much positivity to share. Do it. This is going to turn some people inside out right now. You are an incredibly likable guy. Bryson DeChambeau does a golf YouTube channel, and he tries to break 50 with various golfers, and he did it with Trump, and Trump is a really good golfer. And it's funny because when Donald Trump was in the debate with Joe Biden, and they did veer off road a little bit, at least Trump got it back on track, about the golf game, and he's like, I'm a 6 handicap. And Trump, it was funny to me how obnoxious of a lie that was, because it actually, I think, caught Trump off guard.
Yeah.
It was too bold of a lie for Donald Trump to even be able to. He was just like, oh, Lord have mercy.
It was like that one hit him personally.
Yeah.
The rest of it's policy. This one's like, no, hang on, man. Come on.
You will not lie about golf. This is kind of the way it felt like it came off. And Trump had so much confidence in that moment that he was right about being a better golfer, that there was an actual piece about him. It was like, let's do the scoreboard thing. Let's go. You want to do this? Let's go. He didn't need to smack him around proverbially and beat him that way. He's like, let's do it. And Joe Biden's like, but you got to carry your clubs. Do you remember when Joe Biden said, make my day, pal?
Yeah, I do. It was in challenging him to the debate.
These people are all words. They're all words. That's all they are. They will crumble under their own weight if given the opportunity, which is an even more huge piece of evidence that the media completely knows it. They know that exposure for specifically Kamala Harris and previously Joe Biden is the worst thing that can happen to him.
Yeah, she's going to come out with policy positions this week in writing finally, which makes you go, wow, so all up until now, they were saying, she's amazing. She has great policies. She's going to come out with policies soon. What were they before? I don't know, but they were great, and they're going to be great.
We know what they are. She's implemented them. She is on it. She is the vice president of the United States and probably, as far as we know, actually running the country. For how long? One more thought before we go to a break. Imagine that Kamala Harris, we know the state of Joe Biden. We know. We've always known. If he's not the one calling the shots, imagine it not being the vice president. And imagine being the vice president in the position knowing that Joe Biden is not up to the job. Imagine being in that position and watching it all be managed in front of you and then just sitting and waiting for your turn to be the other person who steps into that position to be told what to do. It's not a good look. And if you're not your own man, if you're not your own woman, people see that very quickly. And we saw that with Joe Biden. And you can tell that Donald Trump is, because he's not to be managed. Not at all. Let's take a quick break. Will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? Yes or no? I'm going to ask you guys this ready when you come back.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Brad and Ryan will let us know if they'll be okay if their presidential candidate loses. I know how attached you are to RFK Jr., Ryan. So I want to make sure you're
I'm a
be
Jill
okay.
Stein guy.
That makes more sense. Go vote. Tell us what you think on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
STS Armory, my friends Katie and Jesse, I'm excited. They've got really big things coming this fall that I'll be very excited to talk to you about very soon. They are located in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. They're the best. They know exactly how to navigate the Second Amendment in the state of Illinois to make sure that you are able to protect yourself. They can help you find the accessories that you want, maybe for your handgun or for your hunting rifle or shotgun, whatever it is. They will make sure that you are taken care of. They know the answers. And if they don't have them immediately, they will find them. So much so that some of the bigger name stores that you know very well, when they can't answer the questions locally for gun owners or hopeful gun owners, they're like, you need to go to STS Armory in Pontoon Beach. What an endorsement that is. 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS. They also teach classes. So if you need your conceal and carry license renewed, which I do this fall, or if you're looking to get it for the first time, if you even need just to get a FOID card, and you're like, Annie, what's that? Well, if you're going to get a gun, you need a FOID card. They have all of those answers, and they will navigate it all for you seamlessly. 618-931-GUNS in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, online at sts-armory.com.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Tired of hearing scary ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. We may be able to significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe to the IRS. Taxpayers should know. Huge savings are now being made available through the Fresh Start program that can drastically reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. Even if you haven't filed your taxes in years or are facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or under audit, we can help. We've earned over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today. To see what savings you may qualify for, visit us online at TRA.com or call us at 800-511-0379, 800-511-0379. Again, that's 800-511-0379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you're not sure who to call for air conditioning services, contact the team at Air Comfort Service. With 55 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust them with the comfort of your home. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The minds and voices that shape America are talking here.
This is Brian Kilmeade. This is Griff Jenkins from Fox News. This is Jimmy Fallon.
Stream it on the Odyssey app.
97.1 FM Talk.
97.1 on the Odyssey app on your phone. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I wanted to show you guys this before I ask you to answer the YouTube live chat poll. And for people who are listening right now who haven't heard us say it before, will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? Yes or no? I don't know if Donald Trump is going to win or not, but I do know that when you look at coverage like this, Kamala Harris, this is a CBS News tweet from October. No, what is today? August. From August 12th. That's today at 1:30 p.m. So this just happened. CBS News reports with a picture of Kamala Harris behind a podium. Vice President Kamala Harris is rolling out a new policy position saying she'll fight. Gosh dang it. This thing keeps popping up. I hate this computer so bad. When you go to the bottom right corner of your computer, does it pop up some sort of like super helpful launch pad? I don't use Windows.
This computer doesn't, but I have one at home.
How do I make it stop?
It drives me crazy.
Reboot. CBS News reports Vice President Kamala Harris is rolling out a new policy position saying she'll fight to end taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
So CBS News reported on June 17th of 2024. Former President Donald Trump's vow to stop taxing tips would cost the federal government up to $250 billion over 10 years, according to a nonpartisan watchdog group.
Oh. I think I'm against it now.
I'm against it in Kamala Harris's hands. That's for certain. Isn't that ridiculous?
It's so corrupt. I think that's why I woke up just kind of mad today. Because the people who are supposed to be, there's a biblical term for this. It's called bearing false witness. It's one of the commands. They just lie. They lie and lie and lie, and they don't care anymore.
They don't care.
It doesn't even.
They're not worried about being found out.
There's no conscience about it.
No.
Like, well, maybe we could spin this to where it sounds. Who cares?
There's no conscience about it. Good point. There's also no consequence.
No, exactly.
Right-leaning people on the radio start pulling their hair out and use it to pass 5 minutes of time in a 3-hour radio show, and they love it. They know. They're lying, deceitful, awful people, and they know. They get it. They didn't go to work on Monday and scroll through Twitter and be like, "Oh my gosh, was that one of Trump's policies?" They didn't. They didn't discover that later down the road and get red-faced from embarrassment. They know exactly what they're doing.
I think you said this earlier, too, is the 1 o'clock or the 12 o'clock hour. there's no real moral ground to it. So if you were really upset, and the reason that this happens so frequently, and that's just a great example because it's in the same organization saying the same policy, two different things based on the candidate. It doesn't get much clearer than that. But they do this all the time because they don't actually believe in anything. They just believe in whatever the thing at the moment that their side is saying. So if you flipped the sides and just put D on anything, they just believe that. Mm-hmm. There's no grounding to any sort of, they don't really have a vision for anything. It's just response.
Which is where this becomes emotional because people, I mean, this makes people mad. This makes people, it first makes you question whether or not everybody else is seeing what you're seeing, which is gaslighting. You are being made to see and feel something that when you say, I see this and I feel this, they go, what are you talking about? And they did it to you. That is the definition of gaslighting. They know what they're doing. That doesn't mean that you don't see it. That doesn't mean that you don't feel it. But we do have to be smart about how we react to it, which is where the stakes are higher. You know, if at the end Donald Trump wins and we can call scoreboard, okay. It was a hard-fought battle. We managed to make it through. You know, in our minds, the good guy won. But if he loses, and you know that it's based on unchecked lies because the Democrat media was involved in it the whole time, that's not going to feel good.
No. They haven't had to do anything. They haven't had to talk about politics. I mean, we keep saying they haven't done any interviews, they haven't done any press conferences, but it's true. They haven't released any sort of policy about anything until they do this one. It's just the stolen Donald Trump policy. But they don't have to because they have a compliant media that does the work for them. They're out there rewriting her entire past for her. Why would you do anything?
So, Brad, will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? Yes or no? It's today's YouTube poll.
I mean, I'm going to have to be okay. I look at it and it's like, what if I'm not okay, what difference does it make? You look at it and you say, I got to be okay. If I'm not okay, then what is my other option? It's not going to be fun.
If you're just playing devil's advocate, but if you're always going to be okay with it, then what does it matter?
Well, that's just because you got to keep moving on. I mean, if you're not okay, there's no really recourse. So you move forward and then you fight the next battle. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. You can't just sit here and go, oh, woe is me for the next 3 years. It doesn't work that way, or the next 4 years or whatever. It doesn't work that way. Life goes on. Things keep moving. The country will be worse off 4 years from now if Kamala Harris wins. That's not debatable. She's a continuation of the policies that have taken us down the drain from where we were whenever things were going really well right before COVID. Yeah, COVID happened and it was a bad thing, but that's the anomaly. Nothing got better after the 3 years after COVID either. It's just all downhill. And so I don't understand why people would look at this and say, things are good, it's okay. I don't like Donald Trump. We can handle 3 more years of this garbage policy, this garbage disaster because I don't like him. But if they win, that's what we get. We get 3 more years of it. And so what is my options? It's to put my nose back to the grindstone, to get back to work, to keep fighting for good policy, to keep fighting for good candidates, to keep fighting to return things to the way they were pre-COVID so that, you know, you can afford a car, you can afford a house, you can have a good paying job, not 3 to try to make ends meet. Your only option is to keep fighting and to keep moving forward. So will I be okay? Yeah. And then at the end of the day, too, the thing that I remember most is God's still on the throne. God's still in charge. It just doesn't make going through it fun, but I'll be okay.
What about you, Ryan? You going to be okay if Trump doesn't win?
Nope. I'm not going to be okay. I think it actually is, and you're going to say, well, this is you got to turn down the rhetoric, Wiggins. I think it's actually the end of democracy if they win based on their policy positions, not because I'm trying to.
Pause. That's what they say about us every day as like the number one position.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump wins, the left is every day saying that it is the end of democracy if he wins. So if you say it one time here on this show because you really feel it and believe it, it's hard for people to look at you and go, calm down.
Well, thank you. But
they entered that into the conversation.
Well, thank you, but let me back that up by showing you what they were going to do when they almost had a majority in the Senate. They were going to get rid of the filibuster, and then they were going to add at least one state, if not two, depending on what they decide with Puerto Rico. They'll add D.C., and that's all to shift the balance of the Senate. That's to, go around, do an end around of the voters. So, that's not enough. Well, they're going to pack the court. They already said they were going to do that. They're going to pass the Freedom to Vote initiative. That was a real act that they tried to push through in the first year of Biden's term. It would have done a lot of things to all federal elections, some of them benign, a lot of them not. It opens up the elections to fraud. It opens up to ballot harvesting and drop boxes and things that are very, very suspect. There are so many things that they would do right away to, get rid of the filibuster, and then what they would do with that it actually would shift the balance of power in their favor on purpose so that democracy really doesn't exist anymore. And that would happen for a generation. There's no coming back from that for at least a generation. And that's if after that generation, we still even have the ability to vote, if we're not tearing ourselves apart at the seams. So I really will not be okay with it. I think there is so much on the line.
What does it look like to not be okay with it?
It's to go home, get in a bathtub and cry. That's what it looks like.
When do you fill the bathtub with water? Or do you
I don't
even?
at all. No, I just get in. I get in. I do take my clothes off, but I get in with no water. And that's what it looks like. And then I pull the remaining hair that I have left out and I just cry. It's like the crying game. I don't know if you've seen that, but it does look like that. It's pathetic and it's sad, and that's what I'm going to look like.
Sometimes, us girls just need a good cry.
I hear you, sister.
I don't need a good cry.
No, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
girls.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Us girls need a good cry.
We is correct.
We girls.
I was wrong.
We girls?
We need a good cry.
Us girls? Sounds so much better, though.
I know, but it's wrong.
Oh, gosh.
It's like the grammatically best to say it correctly when people think it sounds wrong, but you're like, I know what I know.
You know what I'm going to do, though?
Even though I said it wrong.
Of everything that we talk about in the show today, this is the one thing I'm going to take back to Katie Wiggins today.
Yeah.
And say, let's have a discussion about us and we.
Just say, let's just have let's us Wiggins have a conversation. Us would be right. Dang it. Grimy wants to know, did you all cry when Biden won?
I mean, tears of joy. I thought that was the right path forward at the time. Just kidding.
Did you cry when Biden won?
No. I was surprised. I thought Trump was going to win that election.
But did you cry?
No.
But did you die? Did you cry when Biden won, Brad?
I did not.
Yeah, me either. I thought, this freaking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. I wasn't happy about it. I noticed that I was distracting myself more often. I didn't do what that lady in the stocking cap did in the street.
You assume it's a lady.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh,
it's in those moments though that I think we would say, you know what? You just turn back to God and you go, I'm not in control. You're in control, and this doesn't look like I'd want it to look like, but I'm not in control. If you don't have, I don't understand. I don't know what you do if you don't have God in that situation. Because if your God is government and you just lost your God, man, you're in a mess.
You sit in the middle of the street, you put your hands up to the air, and you scream no.
Yeah.
Just like that lady.
He follows up and says, so you would say you were all okay then, right? I mean, we are okay. And the country is going to hell in a handbasket. And I think that the Kamala Harris victory would, what I think Ryan is saying is kind of seal the deal.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, because after Trump, he had kind of righted the ship on a lot of things. And yeah, I mean, just for instance, because people are going to go, well, what? Well, something like the Abraham Accords existed because of Trump. And then after he left, they fell apart and you have war in the Middle East. Like, this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. That's just going to continue for 4 years.
They didn't just fall apart. They were actively taken apart because of the pursuit of an Iran nuclear deal, because they wanted to go back and make, like, the thing about the Abraham Accords that made it so effective was that they went after Iran. Now, Biden administration started playing nice with Iran.
Big time. Also, and I don't know at all that Grimy on our chat is this guy, so I won't attribute this directly to him. But the definition of not okay is what happened when Donald Trump won in 2016. Those people were not okay. And it's 2024. Not only did they never got over it, it grew every day. And that will never go. I don't know that it will ever go away. I think for the rest of our lifetime, Donald Trump will have a fingerprint on American electoral politics for the rest of our lifetime.
Yeah.
If you lived through this will be a part of your understanding for the rest of your life. Now, once we get past like the littlest kids who don't remember this time, it'll be a little bit different. But man, Donald Trump knows how to make an entrance and move on into the minds of the people who hate him so much. All right, we want to know what you think. Go vote. Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? Dirk said, I chose yes. At that point, it's out of my control. Whomever wins, I will ask God to guide them. I will pray that they follow the right path. Hunter said, I have to be okay if Donald Trump loses. I have 2 sons and a daughter on the way. I have to be okay for them. That's a mature look. Amy said, well, I'm not going to go outside and scream at the top of my lungs like a crazy person, but I sure will be sick to my stomach. Amy, that is no way to talk about Ryan Wiggins. We'll be right back.
I can see it, like a nervous magician waiting in the wings.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Hey, baby, let's keep in touch. Hey, baby, let's keep in touch.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, you find them online at igotfloor.com. If you're in the market for some new flooring for your home, Michael's Flooring Outlet is eager to meet you. You can visit them in their 3 locations in the St. Louis side, the Missouri side of the river. If you go to West County, Darden Prairie, or St. Charles County, Michael's Flooring Outlet is there. If you don't want to make the trip out there initially, just shop online at igotfloor.com and you will be able to window shop the different products they have. You can read reviews from satisfied customers, people who have worked with Michael's Flooring Outlet throughout the process of purchasing and installation and everything, Michael's making sure that they got everything right to a T so the satisfied customer is happy and a good reviewer for them in the end. Michael's knows how to deliver quality products and great service, and they've been doing it for 30 plus years. Why not be their next customer? Take my word for it or go online and read the reviews there. You can take their word for it or check it out for yourself. Darden Prairie, West County, and St. Charles County. You can find them online right now as well at igotfloor.com.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 5-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
It's time to get your body in shape for the warm weather, and Victory Men's Health can help. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory. They've got semaglutide for ladies and men, and all you need to do is go to victorymenshealth.com to find out more. They've got 4 convenient locations now: Sunset Hills, Wing Haven, Town and Country, and O'Fallon, Illinois. A simple blood test, and you could be on the path to losing up to 15% of your body weight. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are 2 things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, Call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses, or will you act like me and become a meme? That is today's YouTube live chat poll. Type in Annie Fry into YouTube, and you'll see the poll and the stream. You can watch us there, 249. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set to go here on a somber note because we have a Ferguson police officer who is still clinging to life because of shenanigans by idiot protesters. Troy Doyle, the chief of police from Ferguson, is going to join us. We have a whole lot more coming up.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We appreciate you being with us this afternoon. Like Ryan was just saying, the YouTube live chat poll is asking if you're going to be okay if your presidential candidate loses. Today is August 12th. It's Brad's birthday, and Ryan put together a song for Brad. Ryan?
Oh, yeah. Let me look that up real quick. It is a great song.
Uh-huh.
It is.
He worked really hard on this, and he called me this weekend, and he wanted to practice it for me over the phone just to make sure that it was quality enough for the show.
Yeah, it's called Singing Through a Paper Straw. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, now this is the first time this has ever aired.
This is how important Brad is to Ryan.
Well, it's not. You're going to hear this and go, how does that have anything to do with Brad? And you're going to say, you probably came up with that months ago and then forgot about it, and they're just airing it now. None of that's true. This is Brad's birthday song. It is not just some random woke country song.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Here you go. It's playing.
Anytime.
Yeah, it's playing. No?
Brad didn't want to hear it.
No, it's not.
Brad
It's not, or your volume's muted on your end.
It's not. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me make sure. There we go. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Just want to let you know that I love you for who you are and for every single demographic box you might check. And I'm checking something else too. My privilege at the door. That's why. I'm singing through a paper straw to limit my abilities and curb my air capacity. Oh, I'm singing through a paper straw 'cause I love this land and I love my paw. Anybody who would disagree with it, I presume their heart is full of hatred. And I'm singing through a paper straw. No stone I will be casting, every stone I'll be romancing instead. I'm singing through a paper straw. Couple extra bucks will put my buddies in electrical trucks. Anybody who would disagree with it, I presume their heart is full of hatred. And I'm singing through a paper straw. Got a chip in my hand and a chip in my dog. Girl, what happened to dancing? Remember, I didn't
do you feel about that?
Do you love the song Singing Through a Paper Straw?
Talking in
Then
songs.
book us to come to your city or mutually declared non-policed autonomous zone.
Jeez.
By visiting us online.
Thanks for all the effort you put into that, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
he
Don't think
really
too
wanted
highly
you to
of
have
your
that.
race.
It doesn't feel repurposed at all.
No, it's not something that I did a while ago.
No.
Something I did today.
It's amazing that you had that on hand.
Isn't it?
You guys have no idea. Oh, my gosh. How's it feel to be 41? You're now in your 40s.
Yeah, I'm officially in my 40s. I don't know yet. I'm just one day into it, but it feels a lot like being 40. Only I woke up this morning and my back hurt.
It didn't hurt when you were 40?
No. Is that normal, Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh.
Yep, that happens every single day now.
What was the hardest age for you to turn?
I think
62,
last year.
because you had to decide if you wanted to draw Social Security yet?
No, when I'm 64, I can sing that Paul McCartney song. That'll be fun. I don't. I would
Would
say
you sing
last
it through
year
a paper straw?
because last year was the oldest I've ever been, and so that was the hardest. Every single year becomes harder and harder. So when I turned 42, I said, "Well, that's the worst one yet." You?
I think it took 30 kind of hard. 40. Most of the people in my life are just a little bit older than me. My husband is. He turns. Like this year, he turned 41 in January, and then I turned 40 in April. So when he turns 41, I always think that I'm just a year younger than him. So when he turns 41, I feel like I just turned 40. And then I get to April, and I'm like, oh, I haven't been 40. So I feel like I kind of get like a little time back.
Yeah.
So I get acclimated to these ages that are just a little ahead of me, just because of the people I'm around. You guys are all just a few years older than me, and and Jared is just a little bit over a year older than me. So I don't know.
I do the same thing because my wife is about 5 months older than me.
Yeah. So you get
I hear the age and I'm like, okay, that's coming.
All right. Will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? I haven't answered this yet. My answer is yes, I'll be okay. Like I will mentally be okay. My purpose in life will be unchanged, but I will be dismayed and I will be sad. And then I'll have to take some time in a bathtub or in my own place of choosing to identify the problem and start doubling and tripling down my efforts, which I have doubled and tripled down from elections before. We asked you that question on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Will you be okay if your presidential candidate loses? 61% of you said no. So I think that's something that we have to think about right now while you still have the ability to affect the outcome. If you're part of that 61%, get involved. Reach out to your county Republican Party and get involved. You'll be very glad you did. You'll feel like you did something. The worst thing is feeling like you should have done more. So find those county Republicans and get involved. Mark Reardon on a very important local story coming up next.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. That's right. Seminars Tuesday, August 13th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. Easy to reach. Phone call or text message that goes directly to Stewie. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. When you partner with Stewie for your mortgage or for your mortgage refinance, you are in the best of hands. I have done a bagel loan refinance twice with Stewie to make sure I could secure lower rates. You've heard the stories, you've heard the news. Rates have come down a little bit. So if you've purchased a home in the last year and a half or so, make sure that you lock in a lower rate while they're down with Stewie using a bagel loan refinance. It doesn't cost you anything when you qualify for the bagel loan to get that refinance done and to get that lower rate locked in. You have nothing to lose when you contact Stewie. He will tell you exactly what you can expect, how he can help you, and he'll explain how with the bagel loan, zero closing costs. This is an obvious choice to make. Just reach out to 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief